Are we recording?
We are. Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Your service in your neighborhood is the worst I've ever seen.
You need the Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, you got to get on the Wi-Fi.
Is that free? Is that like something I got to pay for before we come here?
We'll just bill you with the rest of the charge you for the podcast. We'll throw it in with that.
Yeah,
it's a whole. We'll give you the package deal.
Did you leave the check on the counter?
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see what's Wi-Fi here.
Let's see. Oh, is that it right there, Kevin?
Nice. Yeah, I think it is.
Which one?
Look at that. We should just plaster your Wi-Fi password to.
There's going to be people hanging out front, like in our street, just using our Wi-Fi.
That'd be great.
I'm like the slowest.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Share Wi-Fi. Gotcha.
Nice. We got you.
Oh,
Taken care of.
I was mid-type.
Don't worry, I got you. I'll do the work for
I
you.
appreciate that.
That's right.
So I guess we're talking.
Yeah, we sure are. So we've got a couple of things that we're doing here today. Kevin's on his phone again, so we'll just keep going. But
Go for it.
We've got our buddy down in Norman, Seth Brooks. We brought this up before. I told the story about him. So we invested in a beer company, and his wife was nice enough on her way back from Nashville. That's where the brewery is, to bring back some, and he gave me some. And so I actually had 2 left, and we've decided to do a little tasting of them today. So we've got, for anybody who doesn't know, this is Kenny the Machine Wooldridge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Kenny, don't be nervous. Look at the camera.
I don't even know. Oh, I was looking for the camera.
That's over there.
Come on. Man.
Yeah. So we're gonna do this, but we're gonna introduce. We're gonna get it there.
Wow.
Kenny here. So Kenny is an entrepreneur. He's got actually a couple of businesses. Full-time trainer, owner of Anytime Fitness, also known as Kenny Time Fitness, as we like to refer to it as well as many of you know, the coffee mecca of Oklahoma City and becoming is Coffee Jerks.
That's not what you said earlier.
Yeah, it's not, but it's all right. There's 2 things I know about Kenny, is that whether it's his personality or his coffee, he's a jerk. So,
wow.
Welcome.
I didn't even have to pay for that.
Yeah. This is how we treat our friends. So,
How are the shops doing, man?
I mean, we're a few days away. God, no, we're good, dude.
yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Look at the world.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's round.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting thing. I mean, like, you've got multiple businesses, and that's definitely got to be,
Well, I have multiple personalities.
that helps. That helps. Well, let's feed those personalities some alcohol to start. We've got a couple of beers here. So we've got, so this is the Zool, I think is how you pronounce it. I imagine that's it. It's XUL brewery out of, I want to say Nashville. I should double check that. I'm sure it says it somewhere on here. Knoxville, close enough. But super cool guy. Super cool that he brought us these. So we're going to drink a little bit of them for the camera and for our bellies, so that we can kind of let you guys know how they are. I've already had these, and they're awesome. Do we want to start out with the tangerine creamsicle sour, or do we want to start out with the blueberry cobbler sour? Kenny, you're the guest.
Cobbler.
Yeah, I like it.
This picture, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but this orange creamsicle has an orange with a bunch of teeth on it, and it's really cool and just only slightly uncomfortable. So, but I like the picture a lot.
Sounds like it.
Slightly.
You guys talk amongst yourselves while I'm pouring these.
Kevin.
Kenny,
Well, how's the supplement business?
it's real good, man.
Yeah.
We're doing well.
I don't really care. I was just trying to. I'm sorry, I didn't want to make you talk anymore.
That's the whole point of this,
No.
actually.
Like, ooh. Let's be people we're not.
Yeah, talking's good though.
No, we're getting through the hurdles like everybody else, trying to keep the positive mindset of,
Kenny, my friend.
man, looking at every problem as an opportunity in disguise.
Yeah.
And trying to keep that as our mantra, especially in this day and age. So
We're gonna postpone that for a quick cheers and a we're going to talk about how this one I think is really cool. I want you guys to take a sip, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. notice that you get a little cinnamon, a little crust in there. Like it's a whole flavor profile. It's
like
pretty.
a treat.
I was expecting, like, don't get me wrong, like like with these more craft beers, like I was expecting, it's gonna taste like blueberry, like whatever. But no, it's like it is a blueberry cobbler. It is not blueberry.
It's not just blueberry. It is definitely you like you said, you get the crust, you get the sweetness that you get from an actual cobbler too.
Yeah.
That's pretty spot on.
Yeah, good sweetness, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit
solid.
Definitely get a little crust in there. So big fan. I like this one a lot. And to be honest, I like this one a lot. I think I like the tangerine more. So they're both very solid.
Oh, so it's a tangerine with teeth, not an orange with teeth.
Yeah, it's tangerine.
That's my bad.
So we've got, let me tell the actual names. This one is Betty's, a blueberry cobbler. And that one is tangerine mafioso.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Creamsicle sour.
Creamsicle. So if you turn around, he's actually like a little mafia guy with the tangerine.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty cool. So delicious, by the way. So again, shout out to Seth. Thanks for just always being one of the coolest guys we know. So really appreciate this, and we will enjoy these on the podcast while we're going. So
appreciate you, Seth.
So Kenny, let me ask you. Let's kind of get this going. So again, like we were just talking about, Kenny has his Anytime Fitness. You're a full-time trainer still, correct?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What am I?
Yeah, I don't think you got to give us a little more here, Ken.
Are we trying to educate people tonight? Is that what we're doing?
What
is this?
I don't think we have any goals.
What did I sign up for?
I don't know. We're just gonna talk. It's just gonna be.
Yes, I am a trainer.
Yeah.
I tell people what to do and I count their reps.
That's good. That's a lucrative business. It can be.
I mean, cool.
Yeah. So you've got that. You've got Anytime Fitness, aka Kenny Time Fitness, like we like to call it, which is on 122nd in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Lisa and I are there all the time.
Yeah, it's a great gym. I've worked out there 500 million times, so it's good.
It's the best. Not to talk bad about it. There's a lot of great Anytime Fitnesses in the city, but I think yours is the best, man. As far as equipment goes, dude, you don't usually find that in an Anytime.
Yeah, you do actually have a very nice gym.
You guys are going to make me emotional.
That's good. We want our goal is to make you cry. It's either going to be you or Ryan who cries first, but Ryan's not on the camera, so he can hide it. So he does well with it. So you've got that. You've got training. You've got Kenny Time. And then, obviously we've been friends for a long time. We've all been friends for a long time. But, what was it about coffee specifically? I know you're a coffee lover, so I imagine that played a part. But give me a little bit of like, what made you take the leap? Because something we talk about on this podcast a lot, and I think that you're a great example of, is somebody who's willing to dive into things, and like you dove into that like pretty head first.
Wow.
Yeah. So take it away, Kenny.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what? Ask me a question.
Why coffee?
Why coffee?
Why coffee jerks? Which is honestly.
So I had this buddy, Chaz. I don't know. How many million viewers you guys get?
A couple.
Yeah, he might see it. We played basketball. We went to high school together. He was older than me. Played basketball. He was a really solid basketball player.
Yeah.
Went to college. But me and him connected. He was 2 years older than me in school. But we connected just because our brains kind of worked the same, which is weird because there was nothing in common. Zero. I mean, he had like a full beard at the age of 12.
Yeah. I get it.
And no, we reconnected. He had bought some franchises here in the city while he was working in, I think he was in med sales or whatever. And we'd meet for coffee. And literally we would just try to figure out, because we want to do something together.
Yeah. He bought franchises of what?
He had a window cleaning business.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And then he did one of those, like, I don't know, like Fit for You, Fitness You, like little studio things.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know if they're still around. Anyway, he did those, and then he ended up selling and moving. That's the reason me and him never actually did coffee together, because that was the original guy, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there thinking, what the heck are we gonna do? You know, it's like, dude, I was like 20 years old. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
Seriously, I still don't.
Yeah.
You know,
no, none of us do.
Yeah.
We just like, so when you say why, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I don't know why going my own way appealed to me. I still don't know.
Yeah.
I know I don't like to listen to people.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely got, a couple of things there where you definitely have been, in charge of your, in yourself and like your own future, of course. But But I mean, shout out to Coffee Jerks first and foremost. It is honestly a very, very good coffee shop. It's a phenomenal place. You guys, all the menu's always great. The food's great. Atmosphere's always good. I like all three of them. Big fan of all of them. So
Coffee Jerks is legitimately is where I learned to actually appreciate coffee. Because I know when you first opened up, I was like, had been drinking coffee for like 2 or 3 years. And when you guys opened up, I went to go support and, get a cup of coffee. And, we started, going there regularly because it's like, man, if we're going to get coffee from anywhere, let's go get it from our friend. And
who's that? You guys have one friend? Let's go get coffee for him.
Well, actually, an acquaintance, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
We have one friend in the coffee business.
Yeah.
Dude.
But, it wasn't until I went back to St. Louis to visit my family, and my sister, I was riding around with my sister, and she stopped to get Starbucks, and I got a cup of Starbucks when I was there because, you guys don't have Coffee Jerks in St. Louis yet. So, and I just remembered, like, not to talk crap on Starbucks, but it was like, man, this does not taste very good compared to Coffee Jerks.
Yeah.
Not to cast shade or anything, but it was like, it's so, and then that's where I really kind of like find a difference between like, free coffee from the bank and Coffee Jerks.
Yeah.
Big difference if you've never tried them together.
When was the first time you guys had coffee?
Oh, man. I was probably young.
What was your experience? Tell us about
it. I don't think I liked it, but I think I wanted to seem like I liked it.
I know I tried. I think my first experience was like coffee, like a mocha flavored ice cream. And I remember liking that.
Mine was like, I think I took my grandpa's cup of black coffee off the table, and I was like 8 or 9. And I was like, that was great. And they were like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah.
What was your first experience?
Oh, I hated it.
Never had it, actually.
No, it was like, I don't honestly, what's good about it? Be honest.
Man, I think it is something that like similar to, like we drink, we sip on whiskey and tequila a lot. And I think it is something that, especially when you're looking at like black coffee or some of the more like can have it like bitter notes, but it also has some like more underlying flavors. And I think it is something that, like, don't get me wrong. I had a what is it called? The Caramel Creek.
Oh yeah.
I had a Caramel Creek today when I was at Coffee Jerks. Delicious. It's not exactly a cup of coffee, but it was delicious. But it is, I think once you kind of get to a point where you can kind of appreciate kind of the differences between them. I remember when you were actually, going out and checking or taste testing or trying like the different roasters, all the different coffees that you could potentially like have. And I remember you being like, no, this is the best one. And I bet as you go through that process and you're side by side comparing coffee to coffee all the time, you start to notice the intricacies and the differences. Kind of like Kevin was talking about, like, he's like, I was drinking Coffee Jerks and was gaining a taste for it that I really liked it. And then it was like, you had something that you didn't like and you were like, oh, that's right. This can be very different from one to another. It's not just instant Folgers or something like that.
I think I like grew up thinking that coffee just had to have like a burnt taste to it, and I think when I finally started drinking yours, it didn't have that burnt taste. And from my understanding is a lot of places will like over roast their stuff to keep a consistent flavor profile. But the flavor profile from your guys, because I will drink Nitro Brew is definitely my sweet spot, but even just like black coffee, I really appreciate yours a lot, and that's actually a go-to for me a lot. But the notes on it, it's like a good amount of like sweetness, bitterness, like doesn't have that overly burnt like taste to it that a lot of coffee has. So
even Alyssa was just talking the other day. I heard her. She was talking that she had gotten a free bag of coffee, but was drinking, the Coffee Jerks before, like the take home bean, and she was like. Hey, it's free coffee and it's pretty good. But she's like, man, Kevin, can you pick up some Coffee Jerks?
Yeah.
And so she was like, you get so used to drinking one, you get drinking the Coffee Jerks one or just one that you like in general. And then it's like you switch to something else and you're like, oh, wait a second. This is not nearly as good.
Well, you spent like quite a bit of time, and you even delayed opening to make sure that you picked the right coffee beans, right? And from the right roaster.
That's what I told people.
Just outing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't even, honestly, I remember there was something to do with that.
Mm.
You know, like in business, have you noticed that like an early onset of Alzheimer's is a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just
Like
tell me about it.
it's gotten bad for me.
You get so much thrown at you. Well, you have essentially 3 businesses, so I can imagine that you're constantly, whether it's a client or something to do with an equipment at the gym breaking, or something happens at Coffee Jerks at one of the 3 locations. I'm sure that you have a constant thread of like, hey Kenny, hey Kenny, hey Kenny, hey Kenny, that probably takes up a good portion of your brain at this point.
Yeah, I mean.
This happens all the time, and it used to always be Alyssa and Trace, but I'd be complaining about something like why did we, like, who made this decision on like to do this, and both of them are like, you made this decision. I'm like, I don't remember making this decision. I don't even remember talking about this.
Could have been me.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you did. You can change it if you want to, but we're gonna hate you for it.
That's funny.
Forgetful though, huh? Have you always had Alzheimer's, or is it just business induced?
Most of my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to belittle a serious thing.
They played college football, so I get it. Took a lot of shots.
I mean, I was on the team.
Yeah.
You know.
What position?
Well, you see, I went there. I was gonna be a outside linebacker, and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I want to be the punter.
Yeah.
Nice.
A natural progression for most people.
No, seriously, this is how crappy. No offense to my feet. Listen, everybody that plays football in college, you're special. Okay, everybody likes your stuff on Instagram. You're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But for crap football at that level, let's just be honest. There's no fan base.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, sometimes homecoming you get maybe 50.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So like, I'm down there and like, I think I was, you're fresh out of high school. You still think it's a big deal. And I was like the first player to show up to work out in the summer.
Yeah.
Still don't know why I did that. It was a terrible idea. And it was me. And there was a couple other players, like, this would be good for me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 5th day I'm there, the guy, Coach Hada, he was I don't remember what he was offensive something.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to me and he was like, hey, you kick in high school? Again, I was recruited as outside linebacker. I was like, yeah. He's like, you're the punter. He's like, the guy we had just moved back to Australia. Nobody's talked to him. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
And a few days in like Division II football in the heat, where you're just getting to get blasted for $300 a semester. Just getting hit by these massive men.
Yeah.
Like, there's like Division I NFL players like still on these teams. Like,
yeah.
That's a crazy thing. Talent's crazy, but not me. Not me. And I remember I was going against these drills, and Kulu, my big Tongan brother. Dude, he hit me, and at that moment, I think I went into a full concussion the rest of my life. No, I'm serious. And I was like, I am done. I will punt for you, and that's all I'll do for $300 a semester.
Really?
Yeah.
That was great.
Did you play any outside linebacker? Like any time on the field?
No.
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 Absolutely.
No. Dude. No.
Probably good you didn't take any more hits after that.
Yeah.
Maybe another hit would have knocked you out of the concussion, though. Maybe that's what you need.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like a reverse.
Yeah. Blood in, blood out,
Yeah. You don't know until you try it.
Yeah. Thomas, you want to go?
Hey. I think Stanley's the one staring you down. I think if you're going to get one, it might be from him.
Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about football for.
We're just asking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, so again, I guess.
You play football?
I no, not really. I played a little bit in high school, but like nothing crazy. I was very skinny in high school.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I graduated like 170 pounds, so not much for me. I was also like a pretty timid guy back then, for sure. Just kind of, as I got older, I definitely athletically peaked much later than.
Would you say you're peak now?
Hey, maybe. Hey,
Because you're like fighting now, right?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu stuff. So Stanley is taking a liking to you. It's happening. Stanley gets a little humpy sometimes. I don't blame him though. Hey, Kenny's a handsome guy. But
there it is.
No, so I played lacrosse in college. So I played a little football, and then it kind of wasn't really my jam. And then after
Did you just pick up lacrosse in college?
a high school, junior year of high school, I
Okay.
picked up lacrosse. And so played a couple years in high school. And then so I grew up in Springfield, Missouri, and that's where Missouri State is. Missouri State has actually a very good lacrosse team. We shared a practice field with them. So I knew all the guys. I kind of we scrimmaged with them a lot, played with them a lot. And so it was a pretty easy transition for me to then just go high school straight to college to go play at Missouri State. And yeah, super fun. That was a good time. But yeah, not much football, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. In retrospect, I probably just didn't try very hard. And that could have helped.
Yeah. I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
I wish I would have found the weight room earlier. I played freshman through junior year, and I grew taller, but didn't actually fill out until I found the weight room. I stopped playing football and found the weight room my senior year, which was one big mistake. So it was I gained 20 pounds and a lot of strength. I was like, man, that'd probably be a lot better at football.
Turns out that'd be a lot better with this. Yeah, but no, I'm kind of similar thing though. I graduated high school. I believe I was 172 pounds when I graduated high school. I walked into freshman lacrosse, so just like beginning of the year too, fall ball. And they had a scale, and it said it weighed 216 pounds, and I was like, that thing's broken. Turns out it wasn't.
Wow.
I just filled out literally this summer after my senior year. I just put on 40, 50 pounds and just kind of didn't earn it. That's for sure. So
That's crazy.
yeah, right. I would have been every, if I would have tried in football, I would have been every college football recruiter's dream. You recruit this kid at 170 pounds, and you're like, hey, he's tall. Maybe he'll, some D3 program. He'll fill out. Maybe he'll get. We'll recruit him at outside linebacker, and then he comes in, and you're like, well, you're playing tackle now, brother. So, but yeah, no, 50 pounds over that year.
You started training right out of college, right?
Working out.
Training people.
Training people, working as a trainer.
I've never been a trainer.
Stop, Kenny.
No, sorry. No, honestly, let's just be real. I was just from the age of 13, I was just a little meathead.
Yeah.
Just a little douchebag, just walking around.
You were working out
really
regularly.
Yeah.
At 13.
Never got that from you.
Dude, I was pathetic, man.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I hit that phase early. The problem is when we hit that phase in our 20s.
How so?
Well,
No, enlighten us, Kenny.
that means you are him.
I am him?
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, when they don't get the douchebag phase early on.
You get it late.
Then you get it,
The douchebag phase.
Yeah. You got it over with early.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, got it out. Got
There
it
you
out of the
go.
way.
Good for you.
Just
That's
kind of
good.
matured in it.
Yeah. Preston's hitting his now. Shout out Preston being a douchebag.
Yeah, we gave him too much praise last episode.
No, he's still mad. He was still mad. We need to apologize for the previous episode. Preston does not put his preferences into recommendations. I wasn't even talking about him. I was just saying in general it's difficult, but he has given us a lot of he's been a little salty. But it's all right. This is gonna make him more mad.
We did give him praise the whole episode, and then the one clip we used was us talking shit on him.
Yeah.
Or using the story from him.
As an example.
Yeah.
You make an example of somebody one time on the internet for thousands of people to see, and they're upset about it. The world we live in today, am I right? Bunch of
terrible.
snowflakes. Just kidding, Preston. I love you. You are a douchebag, but that's all right.
Actually, I think I'm probably overlooking your time at GNC though.
Ooh.
It's all right.
You guys want to get into that?
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt our feelings.
Mm. Listen, my days at GNC were pretty. That could have been my peak.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie.
Peak just person, or are we still talking about douchebag?
I was peak douchebag.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
You can sell more that way at GNC though. I
Oh
think.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
dude.
something I look for.
To this day, I don't even know what 90% of the supplements do. And I passed every course.
Yeah.
But you know what? You just sold, man.
Yeah.
My favorite I started in Weatherford, obviously, because I quit football. Thought I was going to join the military, worked at GNC. That's a typical rotation of events. So, pop in, recruiters got me. I was like, I remember this. I literally I walked into the head coach's office. I said, hey man, I'm done. I think that's literally what I said. And then I left. Like, I didn't even sit down. I was like, hey man, I'm done. I don't even think he was listening to me, to be honest. I don't even know if he knew I quit.
He's like, who are you?
Yeah. Anyways.
That's the funniest thing that's ever been said on this podcast. Ryan's crying with me.
I don't even remember what we were laughing
stopped
at.
playing. I quit football. Thought I was going to join the military. Started working at GNC.
Yeah, I mean, come on,
That's
man.
That's a pretty normal
Let's go. I was
pathway.
peak douchebag, brother. That that person. He's right there. There's probably 10 of them.
Oh,
Anyways,
man.
and they probably come in and ask for job applications right after they join the military.
Yeah.
Or when they don't, because I didn't, because I was a little girl.
That was funny.
I was like, I'm going to join the Marines.
Yeah. You'd have made a good Marine.
The guy had me
Ken.
pumped up, dude.
Yeah.
He was like, we won't pay for your tuition.
Yeah.
We'll pay for everything, man.
And you're like,
And I was like, hell yeah.
yeah.
But then I'll never so I called my mom. I was like trying to because I knew if I told her, Mom, I'm going to be a Marine.
Mm-hmm. She's, I know her. She's a tough lady.
Yeah. Well, not that tough.
Yeah.
Like she goes the opposite route.
Mm.
She hits you with her disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen those? The mom disappointment?
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible.
Mm.
Anyway, so I call her. I'm like, hey, casual. In my head, I was like, this is a perfectly normal thing for a 19-year-old kid that calls mom in college and say, hey, there's going to be a guy. He's like, come by the house. And he needs all my papers. I didn't even know what I needed. I needed my pass, whatever.
Yeah.
Birth certificate.
Mom knows the papers.
Mom.
And instantly she just started bawling.
Oh.
And I was like, she knew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was caught.
Yeah.
And so then I still was like, Mom, I'm going to do this. I swear in on Friday. I was ready. This is like a Monday to a Friday.
I never knew this.
Yeah. Hey, coach, I'm done. Military.
Mm-hmm. That's how I think they wait outside of practice.
Oh, they know. No, seriously. I was kind of, it was like that moment, you don't, growing up in sports, you play sport.
Yeah.
Which one did you play all throughout your life?
I played soccer a lot. And then,
did you ever think of that day you'll never play again?
No, especially lacrosse. That was an interesting one. I definitely didn't. I never envisioned my last game.
Yeah, they got to prepare you for that.
Yeah, they don't. It's not talked about a lot. Maybe it is now, but back then it wasn't.
You don't even realize it in the moment, even if you know.
Yeah.
So I'm coming out I'm depressed, dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life.
Well, it's one of those.
If I can't punt the ball, I don't know what to do. I'm my Booby Miles of Friday Night Lights.
That's right. It's all I got.
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm sitting there, I come out of the, I remember it. And they're set up around the library and where we ate. I don't know what that place is called.
Mm.
I don't even know what the library is though either. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
That's good.
And there dude, he caught me from 200 yards out. He's like,
Yeah.
and it's I was caught.
Yeah.
I knew.
You got sniped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was built like you. He's got the tats, I was
Yeah.
I want to look like that.
Yeah. Still don't.
I want to be him. But he got me at the mom, and so mom cries, and somehow I don't even remember how it all evolved. I think I woke up and I was like, I don't want. I respect everything in the military, but
Yeah,
I don't want to do this. I'm just doing this for $5,000 in tuition, such a small amount of money.
Yeah, something.
But it would have been a good career, maybe.
Sure. You'd have figured it out.
I probably would have died.
Nah,
but not in war.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm not a hero guy.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that dies in boot camp.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth.
Forgot to turn the safety on the gun at the gun range.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hmm.
I've literally, every injury I've ever occurred, everything that's ever happened to me is because I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth.
You own it though. I know you had that video where you were tearing down the wall when you guys expanded the gym.
Flew.
You
flew.
You were slinging the sledgehammer and it was a little heavier than I think you anticipated.
Because that's peak douchebag was trying to come out.
Mm.
And so I was trying to make this cool video. I remember, dude, what was that, 2016?
Oof.
I was a baby.
Glory days.
And I was single at the time.
Yeah.
It was that happened a day after I met my wife now.
Wow.
That was a special night.
Yeah.
You were trying to impress her. You're
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, man.
Was she
Look
there?
at this.
Probably
heavy
not.
hammer.
No, she was.
But
so
you knew this
we
video.
literally just met the night before.
Mm-hmm.
We'd talked for a while.
Yeah. A lot of pent up
That's another story.
testosterone.
I don't want to. I signed some NDAs because of that story.
Oh. Wow.
No, literally. So 24. That's crazy that it happened. But But like, yeah, I was like trying to get I thought I was going to tear the whole thing down with one swing. And that's probably what makes it. And honestly, that moment in my life is when I was like, screw it, dude. Like, you're not that sweet in anything.
Just own the mistakes.
Yeah.
I love that. You had that video, didn't turn out the way you anticipated, but you posted it. That was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was actually like 3 weeks after my bodybuilding career ended. They didn't prepare me for that, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last time you
Why don't we prepare people for the end?
You know, it's funny you say that because I did a little coaching in lacrosse, and that was we last game had a bunch of seniors, and I was coaching high school lacrosse, and I was kind of in charge of giving the pregame speeches and stuff, and I was kind of like, guys, for like, you know, the majority of you, like we only had one kid or two kids going to play college, and I was like, the majority of you, this might be the last time you ever really like pick that stick up, you know, like I know that seems minuscule and the season's almost over. The season is over essentially after today, and it's like, you know, in your mind, you're probably ready to put this down. You're ready for the season to be over. You're kind of tore up, you're kind of worn out, and you're like, yeah. But you know, but then a couple months goes by, and you start to be like, oh, when's the next season coming? The next season's not coming, and so you know, gave this like big speech about, you know, guys, this might be like legitimately the last time you throw a lacrosse ball, you know, unless you guys just decide to go to the park and play catch or something, or like join a men's league, or, you know, if you're wherever you are even has that. And yeah, we went, and yeah, it was a really good speech, and yeah, we lost 20-3. So
Do you like remember your last play?
I remember probably not my last one. No.
Did I remember mine? Not in college.
Man, you kicked the shit out of that ball.
You know what? I think this is a true story, and I can find the tape to show you someday. Maybe, I don't know. I'll do some digging.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing Henderson State. I believe that's what they're called, up in Arkansas. I had a punt, you know, beautiful punt. Was, you know, when you have the number one punt returner in the country, you're supposed to punt it right to him.
Yeah, that's what they say.
But it was beautiful, man. It was like spot. I like to watch it. I was like, wow. I look at my coach, and I can see they're like, oh god.
Yeah.
And so I just started. I know it was about to happen. So this guy, he wasn't very big. He was like quick, he was fast. Anyways, somehow I got lucky enough to be in the same line of force as him.
Yeah.
But he was already out of bounds. He was already running out of bounds.
Wow, good.
So I got a personal foul as a punter, and then I got up and I did a cut throw. And that's not a lie.
Nice.
And literally, like, that was like my only good meeting I ever had with my coach after the game. He was like, you know what you did? I was like, yeah. He's like, good job.
Hey, man.
And I think that's the only word. I seriously think that's the only conversation I ever had with my head coach in college. Is that not crazy? Because he didn't respond when I quit.
Yeah.
Huh. But at least it was, good job, boy.
Yeah. Hey,
worth it.
I get it. That's quite it. I would like that film. Yeah. Could you?
We can find it.
Yeah. Go ahead and we'll get it posted.
I mean, I got it on my phone.
Yeah. It's actually, you know how they have live backgrounds now? I've got it. It's set up right here. Kevin, you ready to crack open that other one?
I've been staring it down for a bit.
Well, pass it over. Kenny, you got to finish yours.
Oh,
Chug it.
Chug it, Kenny.
You got a table
are
to
you
the
guys
left.
sponsored by Uber? Did they take me home?
No.
No.
We can
We got a guest room.
yeah, you can stay or you can snuggle up with me.
Oh.
Whoa. I don't know if
I
I
didn't
Maybe
say
a little-
he was staying in the guest room.
Maybe a little trigger happy on the invitation there. Maybe I should have waited a little bit longer to in the podcast to invite you, but it's out there now.
I'm not gonna. I like your neighborhood.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice.
You're just a little south of me,
You're
right?
like in that part of the neighborhood. You guys might. Let's
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
apologize.
No, you're
I
okay.
just broke a podcasting rule.
What'd you do?
Well, I messed up y'all's hand signs.
No, I had to snap at Kevin to get his glass. I've been snapping at people more.
I'm not a big fan when he snaps at
Yeah.
me.
Hey, well, I tapped on the table. I thought
You did.
I thought you'd respond. Okay.
So, anyways, back to GNC. I think that's where I was headed. With all that.
Mhm. And then were you working there? Because you actually made it like into like upper management there, right?
Sorry, you need to give this is good.
Mm-hmm.
You need to give a shout out.
Yeah, this is the Tangerine Mafioso creamsicle sour, and this one I'm a big fan of. I like this one a lot. Big on orange stuff recently.
Kind of reminds me
Tangerine.
like a mimosa without the sweet, which I like.
It does.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Mimosas are too sweet.
Mm.
How do you feel about them?
Honestly, I haven't had a mimosa in a long time.
Have you ever had alcohol with the supplements from your store?
Oh yeah, Kevin is big on that. Kevin will get a little drunk, and it's super funny. He'll be like, because I bartended for a long time. So Kevin always, we'll be making drinks. And it's always, I know when Kevin is gotten a couple in him because he'd be like, put some Define Pre in the next one.
Well, I get a little tired, and I'm like,
I
you know,
get-
especially if we're outside, you put a little Define Pre, a little Define Hydrate in there, and you mix it with some kind of liquor, and it's like you feel like a new man juice.
I get it. You got new man juice.
Yep.
There you go.
That's what we call it, right?
We're working on we're registering trademarks right now. So
Throw that one on the list.
yeah, actually, I Ryan and I in the podcast a lot of times share a brain. So Ryan is writing down "New Man Juice" to be part of the title. We got the yes from Ryan. Perfect. Attaboy, Ryan. Way to stay on top of it.
You're welcome.
No, I understand why. It's just it humors me whenever it's happening. The last one, he wants me to break open a couple of capsules of Define Sleep so you can get good rest, and then he's good to go.
Nightcap.
Little nightcap. Yeah. Give me a little whiskey and sleep.
Doesn't taste great.
Yeah, no, and get a lot of funny looks as I'm cracking pills open into your drinks.
If you ever
It's not funny.
do that when like make sure I'm not looking and like but somebody else is and like serve it to
Yeah, that's good. That's not funny.
that's yeah. Let's strike that from the
So
yeah.
Kenny.
Oh, I'm still here.
Yeah.
One of
We're talking about
you guys
GNC.
probably don't get it as much. Do you guys sell the? I'm thinking of times in the store. Do you guys sell the drinks you drink before you take a piss test to code it? The little flush drinks.
We've
We've got some detox.
We've had some before.
But do you get the guys
Not
that-
the
you guys
same-
get-
not the big like the
Yeah.
one you're talking
That
about.
was-
so.
Probably one of the best things about worst thing about living in Weatherford or working at a general nutrition in Weatherford.
Mm.
It's because a lot of people have to take piss tests for reasons, right?
Mm.
I mean, we're in Western Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And like, no, I mean, that's where I'm from, respect.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, there's a lot of drugs out there.
Mm.
So people are trying to keep their oil and gas job,
Yeah, I get it. Hey.
you got to pay for the food.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
come in there, he's like, on a Tuesday, those things were $120.
You know what's hilarious is
$120.
so I've seen one of those to another one, and Kevin, you'll laugh at this, and just any of our employees or people who know ingredients well. The last time I like looked at one of those, somebody I knew needed it, and whatever, they went and picked it up, and I was like, let me look at the box. I'm just curious. It is taurine, dandelion root, and a big empty bottle, and it says to to take the pills and fill this up like 3 times and drink it.
Mostly the water doing the work.
Literally, it's just a little dandelion
Yeah.
root to make you pee, and it's like, there you go. I was
Yeah.
like- and they sell for like they're like $100 something bucks a lot
Because
of time.
people are desperate in those times. right?
For
So,
real.
yeah, charge whatever you want.
I guess so.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Kenny
it
was out there slinging them left and
Dang.
right.
Yeah.
They're $120 a pop.
Jeez.
We'd sell
Make
pro-
commission on
I,
those?
no, that was the bad thing.
Oh.
And it screwed your numbers because GNC's even still around.
GNCs?
Some
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I thought they like went bankrupt during COVID though.
No, there's still a number of
I
them.
think they were closing a lot of them around the country, but there's so many of them that it was like a small fraction of them.
Yeah, corporate stores. What we've seen a lot. It seems like I've seen a decent amount of corporate stores close, and then like locally owned ones, like the franchises,
Knocked them out.
keep staying. The franchises seem to be doing better.
They say it was COVID, but I think it was Triad.
Hey man,
I'm just
Your
saying.
words, not mine.
yeah. You know, I think it's. I think that is an interesting topic, though. Is like, we do deal with a little bit of like, I think animosity at times from maybe like some other places. We've had a couple of instances of people like not saying the most like friendly things about us.
Mm.
And it's so funny because like we genuinely like don't even like even in meetings and stuff like that, it's not like we talk about other people. Like we just try to like kind of do our own thing. And it's like we're firm believers of like there's plenty of people around, there's plenty of people, and it's like we have no problem with like anybody really, But yeah, I wish more people felt that way because a lot of them surely do not.
That was something that was early on. I think we realized like early on in business, we're kind of getting used to Oklahoma City and the demographics and everybody
Yeah.
and just getting to know the competition. And we definitely had to like make some tweaks like we talked about before of, catering to people of OKC as opposed to people of like Springfield, Missouri.
Mhm.
And one thing that we were doing was just kind of like keeping an eye on competition. And I think we definitely kind of started a trend, or at least myself personally started a trend towards a direction of trying to keep up with them and do what they were doing better. And we were not making any improvements, not seeing any like progress. And when we finally were just like, you know what, like, why are we trying to be them?
Yeah.
We know what we want to do. We had a vision right off the bat. Why not just do the best that we can do with that goal? And as soon as we made that mindset transition, we started seeing like almost instant progress.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then I think too, you see a couple of the places that like we honestly had like a very cordial relationship with. I mean, like we have, like still to this day, like we have a cordial relationship with like a number of supplement stores around.
We do.
I mean, like we have a good. I don't know. We don't need to name names, I guess, but it's like even like Gary at ASN, like that. He was our main competitor whenever like you guys first moved here and opened up, and even when I came down here, it was like that was a big thing. And now it's like Gary's still a friend and somebody actually recommends Triad now that ASN isn't, something that he's pursuing anymore. And then we got Austin over at, what was it?
Edmund Sports Nutrition. Yeah.
And
Austin's an awesome dude.
Yeah. Austin shops with us still regularly. And it's like, we still have like good relationships with a lot. So it is really interesting to see how some people, and I'll say this much. I understand to an extent, like some people are motivated by an enemy. They have to have that enemy in order to like get themselves going. Where like, I'm glad we're not personally that way. Like, I don't think that anybody that we've ever had has ever like gone down that route too much. Like we've always just been like, build our tower the tall as we can and like not worry about anybody else. And if people choose us, they choose us. And we just try to win by being the best business that we can be. And the same kind of thing for you guys. It's not like Coffee Jerks is like making ads. I'll say it this way. Like I remember, because the advertisement that they made worked so opposite against me. I want to say it was Kind Bars made an advertisement where 90% of the Kind Bar advertisement was talking about Cliff Bars. And they were like saying how much better they were than Cliff Bars and how Cliff Bar has this and Cliff Bar has that, to the point of literally even having a picture of a Cliff Bar like on the advertisement and then being like, this is why you want Kind Bar over Cliff Bar. And I remember being like, all you did was talk about like somebody else the entire time. Why are we even talking about Cliff Bars? Talk about Kind Bars. And I remember seeing that and being like, I want a Cliff Bar more than I want a Kind Bar right now, because that has the opposite effect on me. Like if you're talking about your competition to the point of actually producing a shooting, editing, doing this whole thing and nationally televising an ad where the whole purpose of it is to say that you're better than your competition, as soon as you have to tell me you're better than somebody else, like I know you're not, because the people who are the best just don't worry about anybody else. They don't even have to. What is it? Like I know you tell the story or you have talked about it before, and I'll let you. Is like wasn't it Apple? I think you talked about it with like Zunes and stuff like that.
There was a period of time I think I noticed that I think it was when iPhones were really, really starting to take off, of like, that's the phone that almost everybody's using. And all these other phones were running ads about how they're better than the iPhone.
Right.
And that's what everybody else was doing except iPhone. iPhone was just like, look at this. Here we are.
Here's what we got.
Here's what we got. It's cool, right?
Yeah. Well, and I remember I think they were talking about on Joe Rogan one time recently that I was listening to.
Who?
Where it was like,
Who's that?
Our main competitor. We don't talk about him a lot. But they were talking about somebody said something to like I don't know if it was Steve Jobs or somebody just big at Apple or whatever at the time, and was like, oh, like, have you seen the Zune? Like, and they were like, yeah, it's actually pretty cool, like a lot of cool stuff on it. And they were like, well, don't you think it's the iPod killer? And they're like, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. And it was like one of those things where it was like Zune's whole marketing at that time was like saying that it was better than an iPod, and then like Apple, no, obviously not. And then Apple was
still around.
It's sure not.
Maybe they did that on purpose.
Right.
Maybe the people at the top wanted the company to fail because they lost so much money.
That's right.
You gotta think about those things. Just like when I think about the Cliff Kind Bar.
Yeah.
How do we know they don't own each other?
Good point.
Do we know that?
Nestle probably owns both of them.
Yeah.
Ryan, can you pull that up? Get it on the screen. But
I mean, that'd be great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, but the point was like Apple just being like, oh, like I'm sure they're great. Yeah, like I'm sure it's an awesome thing. Like, okay. And then they're just like, shit. Like that is such like, at least for me, like that carries so much more than like anything else. Or like you'll see it at sporting events sometimes too. It'll be like Yankees will be playing like the Blue Jays, and they're like, oh, and they'll pan to the ground and be like, F the Red Sox, and you're like, They're not even here, guys. Are you confused? Like, this is not even the game that we're talking about, you know? And so like that always just like is a weird thing to me where it's like if you're so obsessed with talking about your competitor or somebody like, you know, and that's I guess maybe even more a rival that makes a little bit more sense. But if you're just talking about like a competitor, even when like you don't have to be, then it's like your focus is in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You're expending energy to try to knock them down when it's like you could just be expending energy to be better. And if it's like I promise you for the vast majority of people, or at least the people that I know and like how I view things is like if you take the time to be better, you're gonna win me over a lot quicker.
100%.
I've not eaten a Kind bar since then.
Wow.
Huh?
I don't know if I ate one before, but
Yeah.
I've eaten a lot of Cliff bars though.
Kind of one of those like schmear campaigns, or smear campaigns. I guess there's not a schmear.
Schmear. I'm on
Yeah.
a bagel now.
Yeah. You know those bagel ads. I think I just came up with an advertisement for a bagel commercial.
Oh.
Yep. Schmear campaign.
Yeah, a fake
Smear the
schmear
bagel.
campaign. Yeah. Yeah.
Bagels are good though.
I'm a massive bagel.
Where do you get a
fan.
bagel at?
Man, I am a shout out to Old School Bagel.
They're solid.
Oklahoma City. Old School Bagel is my absolute go-to. Their
agree
sandwiches
with
are phenomenal. Their bagels in general. Will, one of our employees, he is a big bagel guy, and he at this point we got Old School for breakfast or something one time, and he goes and buys like 24 bagels like every Monday or something like that.
Dude, our employees are weird though. They will literally just eat plain bagels.
Fools.
Like they've got like bagel sandwiches. Cream cheese makes the bagel in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but they're just eating plain bagels all the time. It's
Cream
weird.
cheese.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing cream cheese isn't good on.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
Yep. I've been making a lot of cream cheese sandwiches recently. You take like a little turkey, little avocado spread, some cream cheese on there.
Speaking of that, just have you ever had the Old Smoky at served at Old School Bagel?
I think so.
It was a phenomenal
No, that one is
sandwich.
solid. I've had that.
It's an everything bagel piled high with turkey and then chive and onion, but I'm sure you can get whatever you want.
I've had that.
Cream cheese. Oh, so I had one the other day.
The way it is,
so phenomenal.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, old school bagels. I mean,
Yeah,
it's so easy.
and they
I
load
see
it
them
up
back
too.
there. I'm seeing back. It's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, it's so good though.
Yeah,
And you
I
don't
think
get it.
it's the art. I think more than anything,
No,
it's
it's
their
the art.
ability to
Yeah.
make a good bagel, and then they're like, we could put.
That's a big bagel.
You can do whatever you want with it at that point. We can put whatever we want in this, and it'll be good because the bagels.
No, that's true.
Yep.
No, he's 100%.
I think it's the same thing like with Coffee Jerks coffee. You
Yeah.
know, like the
It sucks all
coffee's
the time.
Yeah,
It's like, wait,
the coffee.
can we make this taste better, please?
You be the first guest I'm gonna tell to shut up. But it's like it is good coffee, so it's just good in everything. You know, whenever you use it for like different things, it's good in everything. You know, the espresso's good, the coffee's good. So it's like when you make it into whatever, you know, the syrups aren't making the coffee's making the syrups, and that's making the drink.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Good coffee's the base of it.
Maybe that's
man.
my slogan.
Amen.
It's not about the syrups.
It's about the beans,
It's about the man making the coffee.
That's right. It's the artist.
Is it art?
It's the artist in his beans.
It is.
That-
You know, I
there's-
can't do latte art.
Yeah,
Have you guys ever tried? Do you even know what that is?
I do
Yeah.
know what it is. I don't think I've ever tried. I've seen it happen though.
Can anyone at Coffee Jerks make latte art?
I'm sure.
No, it's like a requirement. You can't.
Mm,
That's part of being
Yeah.
a jerk,
No.
right?
Yeah.
There's some people that are actually really good at it.
I'm sure.
But it's like, what's the point of it if you're putting a lid on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an interesting. I think it's more for them to just have a little fun, maybe.
Yeah.
Wasting time on the clock. Yeah, right. Not in Kenny Wooldridge's world.
Runs a tight ship.
That's right. Hey, I will say I was at the Coffee Jerks in Yukon today. There was 2 ladies working there, 2 young ladies, and they were delightful. They were very nice. They took good care of me, made good coffee.
Oh.
I sat in the good chairs, by the way, at the Yukon location.
Which ones you sit in?
I sat in the big yellow ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are nice, man.
I was
You got
proud of
those
those.
little circle tables. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if it's a faux pas to do it, but your boy kicked his feet up on those.
Mhm.
Laptop in the lap. Was
Did
working
you
on
get
some
that
stuff.
artificial grass on your feet?
I tell you, I should have pulled my shoes and socks
Why
off
not?
and just like I
Right
know
in your
the
toes.
owner. You know, don't worry. I know.
I
the
know
guy-
Mr. Jerk.
Yeah, I know the jerk himself. Yeah.
That's good. Thank you for sharing. Hey, can you post that on Google right now?
Guys, you know, I've left a coffee truck review.
Yeah. Can you create a different profile? Maybe?
Hey, man. People do it.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's, I think we need to create an app for customers,
Yeah.
but the business owners make a rating on the customer.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the
I love that idea.
If I was, because
Kevin's
it is,
still
I mean,
salty.
here's what I learned. Like ads in business, it matters. It does.
Sure.
It does. But like, I don't know what's going on. I saw what happened with you guys, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And once you get through it, though, you're going to realize it was probably one of the better things that ever happened to you, because you're going to get a sincere, because you guys have a strong following.
Yeah.
That's something I've always told Kelly. They did it right. I know it was tough in the beginning, especially with you and Vincent and Chad. And I mean, I didn't know who you were really. So you were the guy with tattoos. Who's this guy? I grew up Baptist. You didn't even get tattoos, man.
I showed up to Valid Worldview. They accepted me, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Shout out Valid Worldview.
Were you like how much you weigh then?
Probably 240, 250.
Oh. I just remember you were just a big, wide man.
Big, wide man.
Big sexy.
Oh, stop.
Did you have a girlfriend at the time? I don't mean to get into that, but
I did,
we
yeah.
can.
Yeah. That's going to go over well.
That's great. You dated a girl?
Yeah. No, I did not. Laurel, I've never had another woman in my... I've never
even looked at him.
Never seen another woman.
Beautiful.
I was born. I said, no, Mom. Can't look at you.
Never.
Not once.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't remember where we were headed there.
What I was going to say, it's a really interesting thing. You were talking about advertisement. You were talking about the reviews and it being the best thing.
Yes.
Which has been honestly, so, Kevin made a post, and the post was very heartfelt, and it wasn't about, getting a positive review written about us afterwards. It was just kind of explaining, and I know I'm talking for you here, but like, it was just kind of explaining like, hey, this is some of the hardships that we deal with. Like sometimes like a secondhand conversation made somebody upset, and like, look at the damage somebody can do. But it was like,
and that's something that we've always been conscious of too. And it's always like kind of the thing that sits on the back of your mind of like, man, one person could really like get on there and just write a ton of reviews and really like tank our rating. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
And you're always worried about it. And like, even in a situation, because, anyone that owns a business or has worked in customer service, there's certain people, it's like, I just cannot figure out how to make you happy. I'm doing my absolute best. And it's just, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. Well, and think of all the comments that we saw, because it had a very good response, not just like on reviews. We got a ton of positive review people who had like been longtime customers who had never actually written a review for us, decided to take the time to go and do that. And a lot of really heartfelt messages, which was really cool, because it was like, it wasn't just like people were writing true stories and talking about their experiences. They were genuine reviews. And it was honestly like, I was laying in bed and I was just reading through all of them. And I was like, man, it almost got me a little emotional, like reading through all of these after a situation like that, of just like how many people have had positive experiences being in a triad. And it's such a cool thing.
That's why I said, like, it's already been probably a more positive thing than you think.
Yeah.
Those people don't write those reviews.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen. And I know it's, dude, trust me, we've gotten ridiculous reviews, not to that extent, but what I've seen is in business, because some businesses deserve that. And there's a lot. And
that's the reason for the
even if it doesn't happen, if a store doesn't have a solid base behind it before that happens, that could tank it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that shows you the success that you guys have drawn to where you're doing.
I was just telling someone that earlier today, that if that would have happened, 6 months into us being in a business, it's just obviously an unfortunate kind of just a freak accident kind of deal.
It's a bullet at that point.
Yeah, we don't have anybody that actually knows us, Stanley.
It's gonna be right on camera too. Stanley, this isn't one of your nasty films. Get out of here. We don't make that kind of content, Stanley.
Yeah, if you're just listening on Spotify now, here's a reason to tune into YouTube.
To watch Kenny get humped by Stanley.
Only the most handsome guests.
That's right.
Just giving me the look.
Like, I'm gonna hump you in a second.
Watching you.
Discipline your dog.
Yeah. Come on, Stanley.
You're gonna pull him over?
I don't want it. He's humped me plenty of times. Hi, Stangos.
But yeah, if we would have gotten that, in our first 6 months, where people didn't actually know what our customer service really looked like, or what what being in the store was actually like, people would have taken that review or the multiple reviews more seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and look at all the comments that we had from people who own businesses as well, or the comments that you had, I should say, of people who were like, "Oh yeah, we got a negative review from someone who's never been in.
Yeah,
They've never Jordan over at True Grit wrote one of those. He's the one that like kind of stuck out to me as at least one that I remember, but I know there was multiple. But like Jordan was like, "Oh yeah, like we got a negative review on True Grit by somebody who has never stepped foot in a True Grit."
It's
And
just
you're like, what?
it's just not even fair. You shouldn't be allowed to give any kind of review if you have never been in there.
You remember the South Park episode where like they'd go to a restaurant and they'd be like, I think it was South Park. Maybe I'm making that up. It was something where it was like, I'm a food critic for Yelp, and they're like, I'll leave a bad review.
Dude, I had this was actually I'll give credit to Trey Cooper. He had the idea of just getting a polo made with the Yelp logo on it and just going into restaurants to get free food.
That's a great idea. That's great.
Then we could do it.
Have you bad reviews for coffee jerks? I'm sure there's not many, but
yeah, normally they're right.
Yeah,
it's all right. No, it's honestly when I first opened a business, bought into the gym, and we got like a bad review. It was so stupid, but there was some truth in it,
Huh.
And I'm not saying this for y'all, since I don't think there's any truth in what but I took it as an experience for me, because if I would have not had that experience going into coffee jerks, because the honest truth is like coffee jerks has more of my soul in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas what I do, I have more of my passion, and they're both passionate, but I would have taken it much deeper and just been a little girl about it. No offense to all the girls in that, but
that's like a legitimate thing. Like even, we've talked about it a little bit before, but this was like the bad review situation was something that we had to take, like, no offense, Kevin, but we had to take away from Kevin, of just being like, you got to be hands off.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I was a little baby about it.
Yeah.
So
well, and of course, but that's the thing is, it's like, again, this is the analogy I always use. Someone kicked your kid on the playground. Like, this is not like this. Somebody hurt your child. Somebody did something against something that you hold and cherish, just as bigger than anything, I'm sure, in your life, at least for the most part. But it's like somebody attacked something that you have poured everything you have into. It's like, of course you're going to be emotional about it. How can you not be? And that's when it was like, a situation with Kevin, like in that, where it's like, and you talk about at least having an experience where you kind of handle it a little bit better, but it's like, oh, nope. Like, because you would kill this person. You'd burn their house down. So like, you can't be the one to respond. Let somebody else respond.
Yeah, it's true.
It's an interesting thing, man.
It's tough. It gets touchy.
I've heard, I know I've talked to you a number of times, but I mean, it sounds like you guys have obviously, we've been supporters, and I think you guys have done great. So to be honest, I haven't noticed a ton of differences, but it sounds like from your perspective and from your end that coffee jerks have made some big strides, or just at least been more manageable with your brother-in-law kind of stepping in somewhat recently. Now, because he was in charge, he was managing the Deer Creek location for a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing all of them now?
I kind of feel like I'm on a sports talk show and we're talking about one of my players. I kind of like it.
Yeah. He's a good kid. He's,
he's from Amber Pocasset.
Yeah, he's about
He comes in about, he's 5'9", buck 52.
Yeah, but an athlete, raw athlete. Mm-hmm.
Fills out pads great.
Yeah, he's shifty.
I'll never forget when a coach said that to me. I was like, that's kind of weird. Now that I look back at it, I'm like, what the heck?
I bet you do fill pads out good, though.
Where'd you coach? Penn State?
Oh, God.
God, that was terrible. That was horrible. Did I just break a rule? I apologize.
No, you got...
I mean, I just thought the Penn State joke was okay still. But
no, you're...
I didn't bring up Duke lacrosse when he.
You're hitting their funny bone. We'll try not to belch out laughing on the microphone. I think so.
I mean, we don't talk details. That story's nuts, man.
Yeah.
And so then I'm looking back. I'm like,
wait a second.
Where are you coaches at? Where'd you go, boy? I mean, anytime they call you boy, think about it.
Did you guys have group showers?
Yeah. Now I look back at that. I'm like, what was the purpose here? Like, is there a bigger scheme at the top of football? You know what I mean? Like how our brains
Big
work
football.
now. And everything's bigger than it is. And so it's like, huh? What? Yeah, we didn't know we were going there.
No, I love it.
But I mean, like, who invented football? Who invented it? Was he a pedophile?
Ooh,
You don't know.
that's a good point. We don't.
Nobody knows. We just follow the line and we play football.
That's right.
But you know what? My coaches were solid. I hope.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
crushed
Good
theirs.
intentions.
Yeah.
But all those coaches out there that weren't,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Room to take advantage.
Yeah.
we let this was not a big enough event in America. Like, they didn't make this a big enough a deal.
Yeah.
We need to do some investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Group showers. That's just setting yourself.
That is a really strange
Come on,
thing,
man.
You know, do you ever have a group shower situation like that where you ever play on a sports team when you had a group shower?
We did not. No,
Mm.
I didn't play. You guys both played in college. I didn't play in college.
You know what makes no sense to me is there was like 20 shower heads and one crapper.
You poop in the shower.
What's the point there?
Mm-hmm.
You got all these football, before the game, you got to go.
Yeah, yeah.
We're all
Everyone's
waiting in line, but like
Yeah.
as soon as like little kids get naked, it was like they just open the doors. I mean, it's just the honest truth. I know it's weird, but Penn State really revealed like maybe there was something deeper in football.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's true.
This is good.
that was a
This
bad last sentence, but
No, this is good. This is
Ryan listens to these.
Listen,
if
we
you
can-
say anything that's
Yeah.
not great, we can. Nah,
it's
we're-
all right.
Ryan's in on it. He's feeling good.
Yeah, he's like, this
He
is good
supports it.
content.
Yeah,
we might
he's
use
like-
this.
Did you
for
play
clips on-
football? Did you play football?
Nah, I was
See.
in golf.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's what I wish I would have played.
Yeah.
Mm, I do wish I would have played golf in high
Dude,
school.
it's
at least.
I wasn't good enough in high school to play golf in high school. That's my
Me neither.
Really? But I feel like you got to play a lot then. It probably helped.
After high school, I started working at a golf course, and that's
that
where
you really
I
happened?
started actually.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like everybody has to kind of go through a golf phase like that where they just like play a ton in order to get halfway decent. Like
Yeah.
I before I moved down here, I had that like 6-month stint where I was playing almost every day just because I had the country club membership.
That was your quarter life crisis.
My quarter life. Having gone over my quarter life crisis, I was gonna move to Oklahoma City. I knew that was coming, and I was like, I'd quit my big boy jobs that I had, and I was like, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bartend at night. Okay, easy money, no biggie. It was a sports bar. I'm just pouring beers, and then there was a country club in town that had I knew I was moving in 6 months, and they had a deal on their membership that the first 6 months of the country club membership was only $50 a month. It was like an entry thing. They were trying to get people to sign up. And they were like, but it said, I read all the details, and it's like, but if you move more than 100 miles away, you can cancel it for free. And you don't have to pay anything like additional to cancel it. And so I'm like, I go there and I'm like, hey, like, I'd like to sign up, but like just so you guys know, in 6 months, I'm moving to Oklahoma. Like, this is 400 miles away. This is easy. And the kid working there was like, I don't care. Like,
Come on.
all right. And I'm like, so it'll only be $50 a month for me to do this. And it's like, range balls were free, carts were free,
That's
like
awesome.
playing was free, like, it's all included. And I'm like, so $50 a month. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, in 6 months when I move, I'm not going to get some crazy bill or anything. And he's like, no. He's like, you just got to give us the documentation that you're moving more than 100 miles away and you'll get to cancel it. And I was like, you bet your ass I'm going to do this. So
you betcha.
yeah. Oh, you'll betcha. So for 6 months, I literally like golfed every morning and bartended every night. And that's pretty much all I did. And it's in that 6 months, the guy legitimately probably got 120 rounds in. And just playing that frequent. This is what I tell people all the time, because anybody who plays golf like will understand this. Anybody who plays like hobbyist, I guess is a good way to put it. I remember pulling up to the 7th tee one time, and there was people putting, people in the fairway, people in the tee box, and a person waiting, and then me behind them. So I was like, this is going to be a little bit. I just drove off the course. I just drove off the course.
You just went home.
Yeah, just went home. I was like, I'll play tomorrow. And like, if for anybody who like has never had a country club membership and is paying $40-$50 a round, I remember it's the funniest thing in the world because like I love her to death. But she just had never been associated with like playing golf. But like Laurel will ride in the car with us whenever we go because Alyssa plays, Kevin plays, I play, and then Laurel just likes to come and hang out, like get outside and stuff. So it's a great time. I love it. I love that she is willing to come along. But the first time she came, she was like, oh, are we playing all 18? Yeah.
There's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment.
And she was
It
like,
is,
well,
dude.
what? I know some people I know sometimes you only play like less than that. She's like, but we're going to play all 18. And I'm like, oh yeah, we play them twice if we could. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to play every single hole. But that was the thing is that's like how much, not to brag, but like how much at the time I was getting to play was like, I pulled up to the 7th hole. It was busy. I just drove off the course, put my clubs in my car, and went home.
Living the life.
Dude, honestly, it's a good time.
I really like that every once in a while, because Laura's a lot of fun to hang out with. She's a lot of fun to have in the golf cart hanging out. Every once in a while,
I know what you're getting to.
you'll have a less than great shot.
I have a bad shot.
And she will let out the biggest laugh.
Yeah, she will just belly laugh. Like I'll hit a bad shot, and she'll like, and I will look at her, and I want to tee one up and hit it that way.
She's never laughed at me, but I don't hit many bad shots.
Oh, okay. I think she was the first time she laughed. I probably snarled at her.
You were not happy.
No, I was like, golf is hard enough. I don't need you laughing at me.
You play often, Kenny?
I went through a golf phase. That was like post douchebag phase.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was-
Natural progression.
Yeah,
Back on that.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, here we go.
Football, military, GNC, golf.
Yeah, golf to look like you're rich.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's other reasons, but if we really think about it, it's a wealthy sport.
It is. Yeah,
It's expensive,
Can be, yeah.
Definitely.
and I couldn't afford it because I lost all my balls every time. I lost all my balls.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
that's
Yeah, it's
You
like I got like spoiled because I get on country clubs,
Mhm.
people that actually had money.
yeah,
And then like when I realized the only course I could afford was like, no, I mean they're great courses.
yeah.
But that's when I realized I didn't like golf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was competitive, but at a nice country club, you're not rushed.
Yeah,
You can take your time.
Yeah.
It could take 7 hours.
it's an experience.
When you go to Lake Hefner, is that what that was?
Yeah.
It's like as soon as you tee off, the other one's sprinting up and they're teeing off right behind you.
Yeah, that can.
It's a lot of
definitely
pressure.
Say I only play the public courses, so that's what I'm kind of used to. Country clubs they've got more spread out tee times.
happen. Sometimes.
At least the ones I went to.
Yeah.
The nice
They-
ones.
They're really nice.
Yeah,
Mm.
the limited membership capacity. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure that's the thing. Like, you got to think, like, people are paying for it no matter what.
I think it
Right.
was like 5. I think it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
It was like the maximum they would go between players.
yeah.
Hmm.
But
I could be wrong.
yeah, you probably are. But but
I don't know.
but it's one of those where like I feel like because of the country club membership, like you're paying whether you play or not, right? And so they probably do have a little bit more limited tee time access. It's probably fine still, but it's like they probably have maybe a little bit more limited to make it. It also helped that I was a solo, and so they would just stick me with groups of people or just let me fit in between tee times and stuff like that.
That's nice.
Ryan's got a comment.
Just because I have a little insight working at one, I think most public courses will do like 7 minutes in between tee times, where like country clubs will like at a minimum do like 10 minutes.
I was gonna say the country club I was a part of was 15.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
15's
nice.
a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you can get you're putting and you never even see somebody usually hit the tee box behind you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
good.
you were wealthy.
I feel
$50 a month,
Jeez,
man. That was a
man.
lot of money for me.
How's it feel? Seriously.
It's good. I got a hot dog at the turn every day.
Oh,
Don't you?
wow.
Don't you think I didn't?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd play a lot better if I had more time and I wasn't being rushed.
1,000, especially so. Like,
I'm the opposite. That's what's sad.
oh, really?
When I think about it, because my brain doesn't work well, so I
You-
have to think about it.
How competitive are you in general?
I'm a unique competitive
Mhm.
nature, honestly. I don't know, man. I like going back to y'all talking about competition. I don't care who shows up.
Yeah.
And you know what? They might thank me. It's the honest truth. Like, thank God for Starbucks.
Mm.
I wouldn't be. You wouldn't be paying for coffee like you are now. If Starbucks didn't
Yeah,
come around.
right.
Mm.
I mean, maybe. I don't know who would it have been.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If
though.
Starbucks never existed, what would be the biggest coffee shop right now?
Could be anybody.
It's true.
Hmm.
Um,
Think about it.
yeah, no, that is interesting. I remember learning that Starbucks was the first one. Like they got laughed at when they were saying they were going to charge like $5 for a cup of coffee
Yeah,
because everybody else was charging like $1 or $2.
Oh,
it's crazy.
But they made it. They
Changed
made it a thing. Yeah.
yeah. So, and back to the competitive thing. I think it's a really interesting thing because I'm a relatively competitive person. I think I can. I found the difference between like truly competitive and being just kind of like marginally competitive, which is where I would consider myself at, is like the ability to turn it on and turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
I can be competitive when I want to be, and I can care less when I don't want to be. Then you meet somebody who's truly competitive. The person that I am specifically referring to is Laurel Beth Church, my girlfriend, is the most competitive human I have ever met in my entire life. She is cutthroat. You could be, I remember one time, she hates when I tell this story, so she'll love it when she hears this. But we were playing a card game one time. It was like a Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, New Year's, who knows. We were with her family. And some card game I've never played before. And so I got to watch around like a turn happen. And her mom was sitting next to me and she was kind of helping me. And it was going around again. And it was me, and I played something that wasn't ideal for what I should have been playing. And her mom was still paying attention. And it was like, oh, wait, hold on. No, like Thomas should have done this instead of that. And Laurel goes like, he already had a chance. He saw the rules. He knows how the game goes. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, it is my second turn ever. You've played this game every year since you were 4. And she's like, well, I'm just trying to win. Wow. You're like, there you go. Like, all right. And don't get me wrong. It is like, it's a good quality in her because it comes out in all things, but it is like, sometimes there's we'll be playing a board game and she'll come at you. I can't sit next to her. We got to sit apart.
It's crazy.
Yeah, she'll come for the jugular. You playing it? Doesn't matter. You Monopoly? Mm-mm.
Has she tried to kill you?
No.
Okay.
She's actually the most protective person over me that I've ever encountered in my life.
Mm.
So she'd kill you for looking at me wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
Careful.
Or right.
I'll look at Kevin.
Lissa likes that. So
Yeah. but it is
She understands.
It's an interesting thing of like, I thought I was competitive until I met a truly competitive person.
can't turn it off.
Nope. Can't turn it off. Not one. And it's like, and it's fine. I just make fun of her and I laugh at her. Like, we'll have kids one day and like, she'll be like, no. And I'll be like, your mom's crazy. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. We'll be like messing with her. Like, it's my favorite thing. We'll be like close to a game. I'll be like, I'm done. You want to pack it up? She's gotten better. I'll give her that. She's gotten better, but she is competitive.
So, tell me more about how you got into ownership at any time, because you were training prior to that, right?
Yeah. I was at a gym down the street, and I started at 2 different gyms when I moved back to Oklahoma City, and I started really, really small. I think I think my first year, like, because I was still, as the king salesman at GNC. Let's just be honest.
Nice.
I was racking in the commission, man.
Dang.
Yep.
Dude, you get like, if you sold 10 Vita packs, it was like a $500 bonus.
Ooh.
I mean, I was more than that. It was like 50. It was like a number.
Wow.
I was like hitting that in 2 hours.
Ryan and I just both looked at Kevin like, huh?
I'm picking up Vita packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they went bankrupt, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's, obviously the market there. And we've had conversations with people who have like overseen, and I don't even know if it was a GNC, so not to say anything specific, but it was like a situation where they had overseen a chain of like some big box supplement store somewhere. And it was like they had gotten into a situation where they had to let a number of people go because they were recommending like opposite products for people because they were offering some like commission on weight gainers or something.
That was probably me.
And they were selling them to like everyone who came in the door because it was just like, they were more worried about the commission than they were about the help. And it's like, I think that's been those stories and those kind of situations, and even us being in situations too before where it's like you've been at like a more like, or just like a commission based job like that, I think you can go just fine. But it's like when you start incentivizing away from just like genuine help into like specific items, it's like, ooh, you start going down a slippery slope, because it's like, it doesn't even take a bad person. It takes the person in a bad situation, in a desperate situation to like, if you were hurting for money, you were pushing Vitapacks, like you were trying to find opportunities to like.
I was always hurting for money.
Yeah, but right. But it's like, they pay you just enough that you can survive, but not actually live. And then they're like, okay, cool. Now sell X, Y, and Z. And if you sell X, Y, and Z, we're going to pay you this amount. And it's like they just dangle that carrot for you. And then it's like, okay, cool. This is my ticket to like some bit of financial freedom. And it's like, and they just ride that on people. And then people, it becomes a situation where it's like, unfortunately, when you do that with not supplements like specifically, but just business in general, where it's like, I'm going to pay you a barely livable wage, and then I'm going to dangle this carrot of like financial freedom to you if you just accomplish this by doing what I want you to do in that situation. You pit the employee versus the customer at that point of like, who are they choosing? Am I choosing you as the customer to genuinely help you, or am I picking myself to have like some sort of financial freedom, or like actually, eat better this week, or take my girlfriend on a date or something? Mm-hmm. And it's like when you pit customer versus employee against each other on like who's, like who this is for, like who's favored in this situation. It's like, well, like, you put somebody in a desperate enough situation for long enough, like it's always going to be the employee. Almost always, even a good person, like just in a bad situation where they're like, I have to make more money than I am now. And it's like, it's not easy to just walk away from jobs. This is like, you pit, employee versus customer, as opposed to like creating a model just in general where it's like, well, why don't we just like have them, like let's have what matters to the customer come first. And then it's like, we'll just pay somebody a livable wage then, and then not have to worry about it at that point. It's like, it's not this like incentivized carrot that's a dangle. I've worked in situations where it's like a commission based job, and it's like, we got a salary, and it's like, I can say in like 3 years of working said commission based job, it was like, by the paycheck. So every 2 weeks you could hit commission. I think in 3+ years of working at this specific place, I hit commission. I don't even think I could count it on two hands. Like I could count it on two hands, like how many times in, that. And so at that point, it's like, you get these crazy like places. What they'll do also is they'll implement like crazy like quotas, right? Or crazy things that are like next to impossible to hit. So it's like, oh, you're just not doing well enough. It's not that I'm creating this like almost unwinnable situation while dangling this carrot of like, oh, you make $7 an hour now, but like, if you dangle this carrot in order to like, you do all these things that are most of the time not actually feasible for somebody to accomplish. It's like, I'm going to pay you $20 an hour. And it's like, well, the difference between $7.50 and $20 an hour for somebody is absolutely life-changing in most situations. And it's like, again, like then all you do is create a situation where it's like the employee versus the customer.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those, what's the saying that, putting a lock on something isn't to keep the bad people away, but it's to keep the good people honest. And it's, I think a lot of people get put in positions where they're not even necessarily knowing what they're getting into. And, it's your livelihood, it's your pay. So yeah, it's an easy way to justify it. So
absolutely,
it's like, hey man, I'll find good ways to do it. But if you just take it away in the first place and don't,
it's not an option.
Right. Then then you don't even have to worry about it.
Right. No. Well, and that's the thing is it's like, it only takes a couple of bad situations in order for like your reputation to, and this is not just supplements. This is just like everything in general, where it's like, it only takes a couple of like, that can be a good person. Like, can let you put a bad person in a situation like that, who's willing to take advantage of every single person that comes in the door in every situation possible. And it's like, well, this person will actually, in most cases, like thrive in that situation and be looked at as like good. And you're like, no, like, why are we creating a scenario where the good people want to act bad and the bad people thrive? Yeah. Well, that doesn't seem like a good scenario for any kind of business, right? In my personal opinion. But it's like that, like, what else comes from that, right? Because like, how does that happen? If you put somebody, I'm going to make up an example, but if like you put somebody on a car lot that's kind of usually known for not being like the best a lot, but it's like, and you tell them, I'm gonna pay you triple your salary. I've never sold cars, so I have no idea what these numbers are like, but it's like, if you sell 50 cars this week, that's like, and you come in and you're like, you're just pushing cars left and right to everybody just to end at 47, because it's like, there's no way you're gonna hit 50. And it's like, cool, the dealership got what they wanted at that point. They got you to push more, and they don't have to pay you more. They got you to push more, and they never have to fulfill their side of the commission or the bump, because it's like you create an unwinnable situation. And again, now you took somebody who's either a good person, and now they felt bad about every single like one of these interactions that they had where they were like pushing cars on people that didn't need them, or bad deals, or whatever the situation was. I don't mean to harp on just car lots, but like then you take the bad people who are like, oh, I don't care anyway, I'll just sling them to everybody, screw it. And it's like, well, now that person might actually hit it. That person might actually sell 50 cars, and then now they're being praised for essentially being a bad person.
You got Coffee Jerks employees working on commission at all?
Thinking about it.
Carry those
I
Vita
think-
packs in there.
Yeah, I think there's a happy medium, because I agree with Thomas on that. I mean, dude, I sold you something, man. You know, I was selling you. I was making money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's good and bad. Yeah, it's like I probably killed a lot of people, man. If we're just honest with it, a lot of livers died because of me, man. Dude, I'll never forget. I mean, I was back when Jack 3D just come out there.
Oh,
Man, you see those guys, they come in and they're like itching their neck. And my favorite, and dude, again, this isn't hate, this is love. I love all people that do all different things, and the oil industry is a great thing. But we all know the oil field guy. He was a good guy. Loved him to death. Come in, he's off like his 13-month journey into the oil wells, dirty. But like he's got this wallet that's just like fat, you know, because they got paid cash. This was pre, like 2010. The oil's booming, you know?
Yeah.
And so I knew exactly what, I mean, dude, I'd load this. Seriously, they buy like 6 months worth of supplements when they come in the door. You know what it was?
Yeesh.
It was Jack 3D.
They're working,
Yeah.
what, 18-hour
I
days?
had one guy buy 30 Jack 3Ds.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because, I mean, that's why I got taken off the market. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, you working those hours like that, though, your sleep, you've got, what, like 6 to 8 hours off shift. Hopefully you get some sleep in that time.
Right.
And you're just working day after day.
yeah.
Need a little jack to get through.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man. Respect to those guys. I mean, they got a hard job.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You ever watch some of those videos, how
Couldn't
crazy
do
it is out there?
No way. No way.
I thought about that too. I mean,
Yeah.
that was phase 4.
Thought about joining the oil field?
Yeah, Baker Hughes was out there, and they were, dude, there was fat shit. I mean, let's see, you're 19, 90,000 start out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
crazy.
that's like a millionaire when you're 19.
Yeah.
That's got to be so tempting.
And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean,
Like, why
most of,
go
and
com-
some of those guys still are in it that left with me. And dude, I have this one friend. He's like every big lay down. That's what they call him now. Did you guys know that? Layoff.
Mm.
We lay him down.
Mow them down.
And I hope he's still there. I'm not going to name his name, but I'm pretty sure he's still working there. Every major layoff at Chesapeake. I mean, think about that. I don't know if you guys haven't really been here since, but dude, 2015. Were you here 2015?
I had just moved. I moved here in August of 2015.
Dude, 2015, I learned an important lesson.
Yeah.
I had 50% of my clients were in the oil and gas industry.
Mm-hmm.
2015, then I forget what day it was. Boom, done. I mean, they had curtains on these buildings because they were firing so many people. This was a huge thing in Oklahoma City.
Jeez.
Huge. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And so I lost 50% of my clients.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
I was like, wow. And then I asked people, you in the oil and gas? No.
Get
Get out of here, man. Get out of here. No,
Well,
and
that
but
hurts
that was
everybody.
no, it was terrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And thank God I made it out of it. I don't remember what I did after that. Remarketed myself, changed my name.
Yeah.
I
You
used to
became Kenny.
be- You became Kenny.
Yeah.
What were you prior?
We don't really talk.
Nancy.
We don't talk. No, I mean it's crazy. But how did we get there? Oh, I was talking about the fat checks.
Mhm.
And so, that's the guy I was. I'm honest to say it.
Yeah,
I'm honest
well,
to
I
you.
get
But
it.
that GNC did. It was like the bonuses were so crazy good.
Yep.
I was like, why not? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And to his point though, so everybody here, like, and it's nothing against GNC, especially like the family-owned ones. They're
Yeah.
businesses, whatever. Good. I hope they stay open.
Yeah.
But back when I can only speak to the culture that I was in, and I loved everybody that I worked with. I had some great employees. My regional sales director was great, but like the culture preached down from the top, it was huge sales. So as a
Yeah.
manager, dude, but that prepared me to be terrible at sales the rest of my life.
Mm.
Okay.
Because no, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Learn what not to do, maybe?
yeah, I think there needs to be a happy medium. I'm not talking about just supplement business because
Sure.
what I think what Triad does, which I've always respected, even from the start, because you've never wavered from it, is you would rather grab one customer and have a relationship with them than try to grab 20 and maybe get one of them back.
Yeah.
But even if the same ratio is there, what you get, and I think you only see it is, that's why I say you have a strong following, is like you guys, because of the base you've built, how long? 5 years?
6?
Almost 7.
God.
Yeah.
See, I told you.
7.
Alzheimer's, man. But, dude, my first experience with Triad, I'll never forget. I was like, I think I came in there. I don't know why I came over there. I'll be honest with you guys. Sorry.
That's all right.
You good?
Because that's like a long travel from where I would think about it.
Yeah.
It really is. Turnpike Memorial. Dude.
You're like at least a mile. and a
Anxiety.
half.
Getting if you have to turn right on May from my gym and go over about 3 p.m. Dude.
Yeah, you got to deal with a lot of traffic for 1 mile. That's for sure. Yeah.
So I battled through some anxiety just to come see you guys.
That's incredible.
No,
True
seriously.
supporter.
But my first time in there, I think I don't know what I needed, to be honest with you. But I see this guy with like long surfer hair and a ponytail.
Chad Miller.
I know he was. He's like, what's up, man?
that's Chad.
And like, seriously, I think I've told him this. I don't care. Chad won't get upset.
No,
but
he
like,
won't listen.
in my head, I was like, this is another supplement store.
Mhm.
But he was a nice guy. I was like,
Yeah, sure.
but then like this dude started like talking about stuff that I didn't even know. I was like, what is he talking about? But it was like smart.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, this surfer dude is educated?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like a killer combo. when you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
So Chad, I don't know what you're doing now, buddy, but good luck.
Yeah. He's doing well. He's doing
I think I
very
just
well.
saw a picture of them. They had a wedding or something.
Yeah. They were at Aaron's wedding. But yeah, no, he's doing great. He's back in St. Louis and actually going to be moving, if he hasn't already, going to be moving to Springfield soon. So he's running his family business, the Miller Group. They do this like online, all sorts of web design, the things like that, just like storage. And they're opening a branch in Springfield, and he's taking it down there. So pretty cool for that. They're growing and doing super well. Vincent's finishing up his doctorate. Yeah. But yeah, I think
but like I could have called that from the moment I met him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the opposite effect. I was like, oh my God, who is this dude?
Yeah.
It's like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But but me and him became really good friends. You know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. You did it right from the start,
Yeah.
whether you knew what you were doing or not.
Yeah.
It's solid.
I think you make a good point about just like there can be a happy medium. I want to make sure and make that clear that like, you know, commission-based jobs, like they're not all bad. Like it's not a situation. The specific situations that I'm talking about in is like where it's a lose-lose in my opinion. It's a lose-lose when it comes to like the character of your employees. You either have
like the student loan salesman.
yeah, like you have like you either have a bad employees like being praised, or you have good employees like becoming bad ones. You know, like people, the character. I mean, and it's like people of low character can thrive in these environments, and it's like people of high character like struggle in these environments and maybe even lose themselves a little bit. And it's like those are the situations specifically where it's like if you can make an honest work out of commission, and like Laurel works off commission and they sell a good product, and she gets them through implementation and does all this stuff, and she works over at Paycom, and it's like so there's a legitimate like, okay, cool, you sold this product, you did really well, like yeah, we're gonna give you a percentage of that, and that's like a good deal.
I don't want to cut you off, but what's the deal with Paycom? Seriously, it's like a conspiracy to me. So
it's so big.
No,
that
it's a
just
great
natural.
company, but like I've never seen their advertisements till now, and it's like you, the employee, can do the payroll from home, and me as an owner, I'm like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? What does this mean?
I can explain more. I think,
and it's not a bad thing on the product. I'm just curious, what does it mean?
the whole idea that they have, and just kind of talk about Paycom a little bit here, is like they allow, like if you're an employee and you miss a clock in and a clock out, how we like you have to edit that or somebody has to edit that. Essentially, before their payroll goes through, they are allowed to check their own times and check for errors. And so they can like be like, oh, I missed a clock in here. And like, I'm sure they have to
They need to
verify
tell
it.
somebody
Yeah,
to change their commercial.
right.
Because I'm a business owner and all I saw was a guy like on his couch, like, oh, I forgot to do my payroll. And he's like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo." And he's like, oh, money's being sent now. And I'm like, oh my God.
How do you currently run your payroll? Not from your couch?
I think he means like an employee doing their
yeah.
own.
Oh, I have this notebook that I do everything hand.
That's good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
No, dude, think about technology, dude. I was still getting pay stubs from GNC, so that's how much we've come from then. That's what's crazy. The clock in was on a freaking fat computer.
Yeah.
Mm.
Didn't work half the time.
Yeah, right.
How about those? Did you guys ever shop at GNC?
Yeah, I think
Oh, yeah.
everybody started there.
Did you get those chews at the front? Did you ever have those?
Oh yeah,
Mm.
I think
What
I
do we
gained a
call
good amount of
those?
muscle.
We had
from
to
those.
sell a certain. We had to sell a certain amount of those.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Oh, I never
because
bought
those were
them.
considered. I forget what they called it, but it's like a add-on bonus.
Yeah.
And I know you know this, but you know what's cool?
What?
You know how many times we've ever had a quota on selling something at Triad?
Say that one more time.
We've never had a quota on selling anything.
Oh, it's not what I heard.
So one thing that we do is obviously kind of in lieu of a commission system, because when we were first starting and trying to figure out, okay, how do we run a commission system? Like, we still want to have commission, but we want to make sure that there's no room for error, no room to take advantage. So it was just, we came up with this like extremely complicated system to try and keep it as foolproof as possible. And we had 2 years where we didn't have employees, so we didn't have to implement anything.
Mm.
And in that 2 years, we had this revelation of like, man, what if we just did, instead of like each individual like employee commission, if we just did more of a profit sharing system, and if the store does well, each employee does well. So there's like very little incentive. Like, you make very, 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 very like a small fraction of if you sell one product in the store of you. So there's not really much incentive to sell, like be pushing one thing over another. The incentive is to build good relationships, to get bring customers in the door in the first place, treat them right so that they come back and become loyal customers, and our customer base grows. And as that overall number grows, your piece of the pie stays the same, but the pie gets bigger. So your piece of the pie is naturally bigger.
Right.
And this was just kind of I think it was, we were driving back from Pittsburgh from our manufacturer, and it was like a 17-hour drive. And I think we were just kind of, just thinking and talking the entire way. And that idea came from that. And that was, I think, maybe about a year in. And I really liked that idea. So when Chad and Vincent left and we did actually have to hire on some employees, I was like, let's try it. Let's see what this is about. And it's worked so far.
Yeah.
But couple that with like, the training that everybody goes through, the certifications, the nutrition certifications, the in-house tests to just learn the ingredients, learn the supplements in the first place, plus the emphasis on the customer service and all the, things that we do in training. And there's continued education and regular evals to make sure that, you're taking all the necessary steps to, treat customers the best possible way we can, are the things that we get away with not having commission.
Yeah.
That there are, like you said, there's kind of a balance to it of, we don't have, just this archaic commission system, but we also don't have just simply nothing.
Right.
So I was curious, do you have, is there a certain like protocol for, people that like employees at Coffee Jerks, like when they're like checking someone out, like in the drive-through, or like, especially the drive-through more than the register inside, but I notice like things that they'll, I don't feel like they ask, when you're saying your order and you say one thing and you're waiting for them to respond, they don't ever say like, is that it? Or it seems like is there a certain protocol there?
Question. Yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, there's certain things they can't say.
Yeah.
We won't write those down,
Yeah.
No, because I mean, it depends on what. Have you ever went through a Dutch Brothers?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't yet.
What'd you notice?
I've only done it once. I don't know.
I've heard that they like
I didn't notice much, I guess.
I've heard that they will like
this
come
is gonna
in
make
your
my
window.
point so good.
I feel like
gotcha.
I've heard that they will like come into your window, like
yeah, no, they're
poke their head.
super energetic.
That's
super.
what I've heard.
And they're really, I mean, honestly, if there was one corporate chain that I said I like, I don't like their drinks, to be honest. They're not that great, but they appeal to the large audience why they do well. But they're like the Chick-fil-A of coffee. It's just the truth. And Starbucks has great customer service. They went through a phase where they really didn't, and then they did something and it changed. So like, my brain, like, it just works in a weird way. I'm just a weird dude.
What?
Just the honest truth.
What?
Because I like to pull things from things that I like,
Sure.
and then try to, and sometimes that's a good and bad thing. It's a bad thing. And being at GNC, honestly, my experience at GNC, I didn't want to be the corporate, and sometimes the corporate chain, it's changed. I don't know if you I don't go through drive-thrus much anymore, but they don't talk the same they did 10 years ago. A lot of times you don't get asked, is that it? Honestly.
Yeah.
They've changed it. The good one, there's not a lot of bad ones out there, but like the good ones, like Chick-fil-A, they normally ask you a different question that could be related to. Just notice next time you go. It's different.
You're right. Yeah. No, it definitely is.
So I'd say our protocol we did when we started, when we tried some stuff. Now it's just more be yourself in a polite way.
I like that.
That's definitely an aspect of it too. Like when you start writing a script, you lose the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a big thing for us. Like I do a lot of our customer service training, and a lot of the customer service training or things that I bring up in meeting or whatever I will give like things that I personally use, or like phrases or way of describing things or way of talking to people or whatever, you know. But what I'm actually preaching and what do I actually get into is like more of the just the idea, and then you apply the idea to your own brain of how like you want to say it and how you would like end up saying those kind of things. Like a good example is like we had a training one time where it wasn't really his fault. He did a good job, and the customer wasn't upset at all. But the way that he phrased something that the customer was really into, he kind of said along the lines of like, "Oh, I didn't know that was like that big," right? Like what this customer was really into was like a popular thing, right? And it's like, you know, that customer wasn't like upset in any way by that. Like he didn't think anything of it, but I'm like, man,
but he could have been.
He could have been. You could have found somebody. And I was like, man, the difference in like saying that same thing, because we're not expecting everybody to know everything about everything. But it's like you, instead of saying like, oh man, I didn't know that was like big or that big of a deal, or like, I didn't realize that it was that big. You go, man, isn't it crazy how big this has gotten? And it's like that little like change is, it's like, sure, that's how I would personally say it. But the idea is it's like, we never look down onto people's interests. We always look up onto people's interests. If I were to say like, oh man, I didn't realize that Coffee Jerks was like a big deal in Oklahoma City, right? You might go like, well, man, we got 3 locations. Like, I feel like we're doing well. But if I say the same thing and I go, man, isn't it crazy how big Coffee Jerks has gotten? You at that point, you're like, yeah, thanks, man. Like, it's something I'm really passionate about. Like, I care a lot about it. It's like I'm pretty excited at how big it's gotten, even if that means it's got one location and it's just popular or not popular or whatever. But it's like that idea of like just that, like you're talking about. But it's like, if I were to script, or not me, but we were to script every employee, like we have very different people, and we have very different people for a reason. We want different people. We want people of different interests. Like, if you've ever had anybody in the stores ever had a conversation with me and had a conversation with Ryan, we're very different people to talk to, for sure. Like we have very different angles of like accomplishing similar goals. But it's like the whole idea of it is like, you know, the company hired, you know, I say this to a lot of people, is like, as they get through training and as they get through everything, is it's like, it's that combination of what you learn plus you. Like, you know, when we interviewed Ryan, we hired Ryan to be Ryan. We wanted Ryan with the supplement knowledge and the training that we had, or we wanted Will with the supplement knowledge, like training, like knowledge that he gained. But we wanted Will. We wanted him. We didn't want him to change who he was, or any. That goes for everybody. We didn't want them to change who they were. We wanted them to add these things. But it's like we wanted different people who did different things. Like Ryan does cycling, Preston does powerlifting, you know, Will does bodybuilding, I do jujitsu, you know, Kevin skateboards sometimes. And it's like,
Really?
Oh yeah.
But the idea, it's funny as that is, but like the idea is, it's like, man, if somebody comes in who's into skateboarding, I want to talk into Kevin, or like we want to find that route.
Mm-hmm. But I know I had to go over that because we did that week of customer service training with, you know, you, especially because you're in Norman, so you're there doing customer service training all the time. But you spent a week up at Quail because that is obviously an extreme strong suit for you, is to kind of go over with everybody, you know, and just, you know, find ways that we could be doing better. Because that's something that I know I talk about all the time, is like, I have to constantly work on getting better at my customer service. Yeah. Like I can always improve and get better. But at the end of that, I know I made sure to bring up, hey, we've learned a lot from Thomas, and I know you did your training the right way to give him the guidelines, but not exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. But I went back through and kind of made sure, like, hey guys, just keep in mind that like, we don't want you to be Thomas. Because if you try and be Thomas, you don't act the same way. You don't talk the same way. you guys need to be yourself, but use the guidelines that you've learned. Because we've even had people in the past that'll try and say things the exact same way you say them, and it does not come across the same way.
Yeah.
It can even be kind of like pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah, you don't want a Thomas script being read by all of our employees.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't come across the same way. Or anybody. We wouldn't want a Ryan script. We wouldn't want a Kevin script. We wouldn't want anybody to like.
You don't want my script.
Yeah. No,
What's your script?
Yeah. I want the Kenny script, actually.
You know, be taken off podcast for this.
Canceled altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, how does it feel though to be that big that you could be canceled? Honestly, what does it feel like when you wake up?
Always in a state of anxiety.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to know what that feels like.
I don't know,
You're pretty famous.
I was gonna say, I think you're more popular than we are. You should have a
Being
podcast.
humble.
Coffee with Kenny.
This is when I announce mine.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing this every week.
Yeah.
Where's the contract?
But you mentioned earlier, obviously you want them to be themselves. I'm sure that's a huge element that you are a huge component that you're able to take advantage of that these big corporate coffee shops can't necessarily. They need more of a script. They have to have more of a system where you've got a little bit more of an ability to let people be themselves. So I'm sure that's worked in your advantage.
Yeah, and like that's how we started out. Have I ever told you a story how we started? Like the day we opened?
I don't think so.
Dude, it was Thanksgiving. We opened up on a Black Friday. Great idea, right? It's gonna be crazy, insane. First Thanksgiving I eat with my in-laws, and then we do like a double Thanksgiving, a steak. Night before your grand opening, you do a double Thanksgiving. So I was like, I need to go up to the store. This is like my moment. This is like Rudy, the movie Rudy.
Yeah.
He's in the stadium by himself.
You were ready.
I was mopping with Pine Sol.
Yeah.
I started getting nauseous. I was like, man, I feel terrible.
Uh-oh.
So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to my girlfriend's apartment and watch a movie because I feel like I'm about to either crap my pants or throw up at this point. So I get in my little Honda Civic that was wrapped. I'm flying down the road.
No,
I
still driving
seriously,
it?
huh, dude, bro, she's dead.
Oh,
My brother-in-law was driving on Portland, got hit by a red light runner.
Oof.
Thankful he's still alive. Thank you, Scott.
Jeez.
But it took it out. That car got in 5 wrecks while I had it.
Eesh.
I hit a deer going. I shouldn't have lived. I hit a deer going 90 miles an hour
Really?
in a Honda Civic, dude. In a Honda Civic.
Oof. Those things usually top out at 85.
And not to mention, I bought the thing a rebuilt title. And so when I hit
This sounds like one of my cars.
yeah, dude, it had 9,000 miles on it at the time. It was what 2013. I think it was a 2012. So it was a year old. Like, yeah, brand new car, tiny, but spacious too. It's weird. Honda Civics are tiny, but they're spacious. So I hit this deer, and I take it to the bodywork guy, and they had to peel off a lot of paint. And he's like, "Dude, did you know that this is 2 different cars that they put together?" I'm not even kidding you. So like, he was like, the best case I can say is like, I don't know, he was driving off because it had barely any miles on it. Like it was a brand new car. Like this person was like, just bought their brand new car. Like, woo, semi. Ooh. Or something. They either flipped or they got taken off the top.
Yeesh.
That car's been through hell, dude.
That sounds like a bad luck car, honestly.
Yeah, nobody was killed, I don't believe. I think everybody's safe.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
That deer, though.
Nah,
Is he
didn't make
okay?
it.
Have you ever hit a deer?
No.
Did you hit him and you're like, oh my God. And they just pop up and they,
Yeah, see you
Did it really run off?
yeah, dude, he got hit by a Honda Civic.
At 90 miles an hour.
Yeah,
though.
but it's a Honda Civic. It's plastic.
Yeah.
Comes with like foam on the inside of the bumpers.
Yeah. So back to the day we opened. Sorry. Honda Civics.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go to my girlfriend's house. Again, we've been together like, I don't know how long, but it was our first Thanksgiving. And I get to her house and it was one of those 6 where like at every point a piece of clothing's off because you're so sick and miserable.
Yeah.
So we won't finish that story, but it wasn't good.
Mhm.
What happened in her apartment? I don't know why she stayed. It was bad.
I remember you. I'm gonna tell my portion of after hearing about this story was you were like, man, I'm sitting there, I'm sick. Life's coming out of me at both ends right now.
Dude, it was an experience.
And he's sitting there, he's like, I'm on the toilet, barfing in a bucket. And he's like, well, this is it, man. She's either with me or not.
Dude, there's nothing else to hide at that point.
Yeah,
That's how you know she
you're
was
totally
on, huh?
vulnerable. And she's here. She's
Yeah.
still around.
Dude, it was. So, anyways, I show up to Coffee Jerks the first day.
Yeah.
And I'm like the color of that pillow. Dude, I got like the cold sweats.
Ooh.
You know, like this day and age with everything that's going on, I'd probably be arrested. I probably had 106-degree temperature, just giving everybody whatever I had.
Oh yeah.
But to this, I think I had food. Something I ate just didn't. I did that. Let's go back to that. I thought it was the pine sol, but after that, that was a demonic event. Like it was an exorcism.
Yeah.
It was very. We never talked about it again. Me and Allie.
Still to this day.
Yeah, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
When you're looking,
bring it up
when you're
tonight
looking
when
her
you
in
get
the
home.
eyes and everything's coming out.
Yeah.
And
You're
they-
fully nude.
She was there in the bathroom with you, huh? Take
fully
care of you.
nude. But I mean, that was the worst part.
Yeah. Holding your hair. Just being a real trooper.
I'm sorry. I'll clean it up.
Yeah. Hey, man. Dude.
But go back. 44 customers walked in the door in my grand opening.
Hey,
I was doing good.
hell yeah, buddy.
Put that in perspective. It's just crazy that 44 customers, and dude, it was a freaking grind, dude. I did everything wrong. Every, and I don't think I did everything wrong because we're still here. So, but what came to growth, my focus was just on things that, but I never run a business.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I didn't know how to get people to show up,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually just clicked. And, but really, that's due to the mistakes I made is what held us back. But because I was blessed, the first 4 to 5 people I hired were just like, it was like, dude, you guys hired,
Mhm.
and I don't know y'all's hiring, but I know you guys are you have ways to get in the door, and it's not just like I can just walk in and work for Triad.
Mm-hmm.
But as we've grown, we have to hire quickly, you know, and like, and that's tough. But we were just like, think about like if you could go 5 for 5 the first time you open a business.
Yeah. Dude.
We went 4 for 5, but we won't talk about
Yeah.
But dude, that's what's insane is
doing
like,
that ever.
the only I don't believe in luck, but there's no like, dude, I did everything wrong. If I could really be honest, like besides getting the right beans and
Yeah.
the right people.
Yeah.
But honestly, I lucked out on them. That was back when Facebook was great for hiring.
Yeah. I used to
Not
say
anymore.
this. Sorry.
Go ahead. Facebook's not good anymore. Do you use somewhere else to hire?
Dude, we don't have much success on Facebook anymore. I just quit to bother. I think we still post it up there, but I don't even get anything anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, when we first opened, I think we eventually, because we didn't know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't turn off my job hiring. I think I got like 500 applications.
Yeah.
Like,
Coffee
I'm
shop.
sorry, this is Coffee Jerks. We didn't get back to you 5 years ago, but you still need a job.
Yeah.
We're desperate.
Yeah. Well, I used to tell people all the time at the hospital because we'd go through stints of hiring like 9 people. And I would always say, like, if we're hiring 9 people, the way that it's going to work is of those 9 people, 5 of them are going to be solid, good employees, like just normal employees,
Yeah.
like nothing crazy. People who will stick around, probably not for a long time, but like solid employees. So that's 5 of the 9, right? 2 of them are going to be studs, absolute killers for us who do great. And 2 of them we're going to fire. Like almost verbatim, that's how it worked every single time. Whatever the ratio was. If we're hiring 5 people, 3 regulars, 1 stud, 1 dud. And it's like that, you know, and so when you talk about going like 4 for 5, that's like, especially your first round, that's like crazy.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, it's just super good. Because here's the thing that people forget.
But it wasn't anything I did. It wasn't like I was good at interviewing.
No, right. Well, that's the
I
thing.
mean, I'd hired GNC douchebag.
I tell people this all the time is like hiring to some extent is guessing, right? Like it's an odds game more than it is anything a lot of the time. And we've even dealt with like some growing pains of that even recently, you know. Until recently, Triad has never hired really more than 1 person at a time. Like we've never had like more than a single hire at a time. It's typically like we bring someone on, we need to add to the overlap or it's something happened where we've only ever needed to bring 1 person on. This last hiring cycle that we did, we brought on 3.
I think 4.
4, yeah. We brought on 4.
Wait, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we brought on
Yeah.
4. No, that's correct.
Yeah.
We brought on 4, ended up keeping 3, which is, you know, we're happy with 3 or 4, but it's like, was it 5?
5. Not.
Mm.
If you count from Noah on, I think it ends up being 4. But we did 4 at once, assuming that we would get 2 full-time and 2 part-time, and it ended up being 3 full-time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that we went from like one person in training at a time, like ever, to at one point 4 people.
Yeah.
Training at a time. And it's like just the growing pains, and it ended up being like 3 people, one of them, just decided to do something else, which is totally fine, left on totally fine terms and everything. But is like even 3 people at once is like, well, this is a whole different ball game. Like this is something totally different. Like juggling, getting this ready, time things, getting people at the right, like scheduling. Because the way our training works is, like, and it's always funny because people will talk about like, oh, you guys should, like hire for, like a little seasonal work, or like, hire for like when it gets busy. And it's like, well,
you hiring for the summer?
Yeah.
We could train. It takes us the entire summer to train.
Literally. It's like you get hired, and, typically if you're hired, we schedule your test date almost immediately. And it's typically like, in most cases, 1 month from like your hire date. And like, you get your study guide and giddy up, cowboy, and it's like time to get going on it. But it's and that's everything happens in that month, and it's like there's so much. Really, we crammed 2 months into training probably into 1 month, because a month of training is already so long. And it's like, really, in an ideal world, we'd be doing it for probably like 6 weeks, if not a little bit longer, to really get someone like perfect. But it's like, yeah, you're just going to get where they're at that point. But
sounds like you're building a robot.
Dude, it's
a little bit.
It's something.
You brainwash these people?
Absolutely. Ask anybody who works here, they'll say no.
Because they're brainwashed.
Yeah, you get it.
Is this going to be a Netflix special someday?
Hey,
Ooh.
it could be, man. Dude, I mean,
if we do well enough,
it's a tough. But this is here's such a key factor, though, and I think this brings up an interesting point. This is why we're so specific on the people that we hire, though, right? We hire people who currently shop with us, have a relationship with us, like you talked about. Like we try to build a relationship with everybody, and it's like, I want to know this person before, like a good example. Let's use Christian, our most recent hire, I guess technically. He's somebody who, like, not only did we know him, we knew his family. His whole family shopped with us, like down in Norman. His whole family's great, like really good customers, people who like have personally care about Triad. They have a jiu-jitsu gym. They invite us out to things. Like we built a really strong relationship with them. And it's like, if I would have seen Christian at Target, I would have been like, hey, Christian, what's up, man? And he'd be like, oh, hey, Thomas, we would have had a conversation outside of like the work walls. And so hiring him is like, that's like typically the prototypical like hire for us. Is it's like, cool, we know you, we trust your character, we know who you are. This is something that we have a line that we've used even since like Trace was like, I'd give you a key to the store your first day, like, or before you even worked here. I'd give you a key to the store because I trust you. Like, I know who you are. I have a good idea of like.
You said that before we hired him, actually.
Yeah,
you legitimately said that.
Yeah, and it's like that's the whole idea. Is it's like we want somebody who we have enough of a relationship with that we would trust with a key to the store before we ever hire him.
Do I get a key?
I'd give you a key to the store.
Really?
You give me a key to Coffee Jerks, you'll find me in there.
Yeah, come on.
Covered in whipped cream.
Just wear a mask. Wear a mask. Tear it up. It's all right.
But
never know.
But you get the idea of it's like
just do a lot of damage, please.
Get you burn it down. The majority of our interview never happens in the interview. It happens in the months leading up to it, so that we have an idea of like through multiple conversations that this person's had with multiple employees that we currently have. Is like we have a going list where it's like sometimes we'll be like looking to hire somebody and it'll be like, hey, I think this person might be good, and then somebody will be like, I don't know, man. Like we had a couple of conversations and I don't know if it'd be the right fit. And then it's like we have to kind of go back and forth and figure out who's people who like get all yays, and it's like all thumbs up for like being a good option. And it's like, to be honest, it can be difficult for us sometimes because it's like sometimes we got to find people quick, and it's like you don't realize like, oh, we need 3 people yesterday, and it's like, okay, cool. But I think something that's been really cool, at least to this point, knock on wood, that we've never had to do is we never had to stray away from that. We've never posted a job opening. We've never had to do anything like
never
that.
had applications.
Never had applications, never had to do anything. It's always been, hey, Kenny, what do you think about potentially coming on board Triad kind of deal? And that's been like the spark to the conversation. Because here's the other thing is like our interview process is 3 interviews long. And The second one is not short. The first and the third one aren't particularly short either. So it's a lot
How
of
long are we
like-
talking?
The second interview, the average time is probably an hour and a half to 2 hours.
So you're usually the one that does the second.
Yeah, I'm the
most of the
second.
time. What's the longest you've ever gone?
Over 2, I think.
Mm.
Probably. I don't know. Ryan, you're the only person here who's been through one. How long was ours?
I'd say ours was probably right at an hour and a half or 2.
Yeah, it was probably somewhere in there. Yeah. But the idea is it's like, we got to try to get like some real information here. And, it's definitely a little bit of a different interview than like what most people are used to. But it's, we want to get as much like genuine information as we can to make sure that like, again, like when everyone that we have is as committed as we are, and everyone from the day they like start training with us, like takes a ton of ownership, and it's like, there's a huge responsibility on the people who are hiring people to like try to get it right. And so like, I don't think anybody involved in that, whether it's you, Anthony, Preston, myself, like whoever, has ever taken that lightly of like, no, we have to like find as much information as we can in this situation to make sure that like, this is the person that we feel like can, do what we need them to do.
Well, we're going to spend a month in training and, 6 months to a year with them fully getting comfortable, rather spend a couple hours just to try and dig into it a little bit more and get a little bit of insight into the future before we make that commitment, before anyone makes that commitment.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's an interesting thing because, the first interview is typically like, hey, will this even work? Like, we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste yours. In like a genuine way. Like, hey, man, like if it's not going to work, that's totally fine. We'd love, like everybody who's ever gone through a first interview and it didn't work out is still great customers, great friends. It's still like, we obviously wanted them to be a potential. So they typically take that as a compliment.
we're usually pretty honest in the first one. Like a big part of the first interview is just explaining like what it's like to work at the store and really telling them all kind of like a lot of the bad parts about it.
Yeah.
And like just kind of the grind that kind of comes along with it.
Mhm.
And it's definitely talked some people out of it of like, man, that just doesn't necessarily fit my lifestyle or fit my goals.
Yeah.
But man, appreciate you sitting down and talking with me. We've had plenty of those. So.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then the second interview is really like typically the tougher one, and then third interview is kind of wrapping things up a lot. But yeah, like you say, it's like we do that, all of that, and we go 3 for 4. You know what I mean? And it's like, and we're happy with that. But it's like, we do all of that, and it's like, oh man, well, okay, And you make every assurance, you do everything you can, you check every box that you can, and this is no offense to that person because they left, fine. But it's a situation where it's like if you can't do it, you can't be perfect, you like your chances of, and we say this all the time. This is like a very similar note, but like we are implementing a lot of policies now, and we have to remind everybody from time to time, or at least we try to, of like, we're implementing these policies now, and I'm sure you understand this, but it's like we're implementing these policies now, not for anybody here, not for anybody that anybody here has done anything wrong or has ever even like done something like this. But one day we will accidentally hire a shithead. And whenever that happens, we have to be prepared to make sure to like limit the damage that they can do.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I would have been one of those.
And you'd have been slinging
Sometimes I think
Vitapacks,
would have
making
been
us
like.
money.
What would it have been like?
You working for us?
Yeah, why not?
I think that you were very much tried to I think you were multiple times tried to be persuaded to come to Triad.
It's like, come on.
No. Not for your selling ability, though.
No.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that we look for is like, do you understand the model that we have? Like, that's a big
Yep.
plus. Is like, man,
Do you get it?
Some people get it, some people don't, and they're just like, oh, it's just Triad. It's just it's self-assured. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But some people are like, man, I noticed you guys do this for this reason. Man, that's genius. Like the way you do this, and it's like, man, we kind of stumbled upon a lot of these things, and they just worked out, and we stuck with them. But when people get it, I think that's a big plus of like, man, you already get it, you understand, so you'll follow the model really well.
You appreciate what we do different, and then you'll want to maintain that.
Yeah. Well, so what do you see if you would have been working at Triad? What would that look like?
Man, I don't think Oklahoma City could have handled what we could have done.
Ooh.
I'll be honest.
Wow. I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
Or it would have ended terribly.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And I
that's
probably,
right.
I probably went to a coffee shop. I probably did like a shake and tea shop. Like, right, never mind. I'll just keep it right there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like the coffee shop, man. I am so happy that I have a friend that has a coffee shop because I go
Who
in
is he?
there.
Who is he?
It's you.
You guys keep talking about this friend that has a coffee shop.
Yeah, it's you.
Okay.
This
I
is his
go-
way of
Oh,
telling us that
we're
we're
not-
not his friends.
Yeah, I know. Well, probably shouldn't be because I walk into a Coffee Jerks weekly and demand free stuff because I know Kenny.
Yeah.
I show him old pictures
I remember
of us.
Thomas was a good first customer. I think you were like one of the first
I
people
was.
through.
Yeah,
One of
yeah,
the 44, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Close to.
I would have remembered you that day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were friends.
But
we were friends
dude,
before Coffee Jerks.
I
ever
seriously
opened.
didn't even have seating in there, man. Half the lights weren't on.
Mm.
And I was over, like, I remember, like, I had seats, I had no chair, or I had no tables. But I had, like, this random, like, chest. I don't know. It was like one of those chests you set
Yeah.
blankets in.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know what I was doing there.
Yeah.
But I put it in the middle and I put, like, it was like a campfire, little farmhouse chairs around. Like, there was no chair. There was
Yeah.
no tables.
I dig
Yeah.
it.
And I was sitting over there just green. Dude, I literally slept for 48 hours. For the first 3 days of business, I wasn't awake.
Do you think it had? So obviously, maybe the pine sol, maybe food poisoning.
Yeah, but I don't get
Think it was-
sick. When I get sick, though, I get really sick for just like a short period of time.
Mm.
Like deathly.
Yeah. That's fun.
Was it nerves at all that caused it?
No, I should have been nervous because I don't know.
He's
I
a college
should have
punter.
been.
Why would he be nervous?
Dude, like that next day, 44 alive bodies were going to walk into my store and I wasn't nervous. That's a bad thing.
you think so?
44 customers doesn't pay for anything.
Yeah, I get that.
How often?
But I was excited. What?
How often are you in the shops? Because you got 3 locations. How often? Are you
Yeah.
doing?
No, there's been some transition. Not as much as I want to, but that's going to change soon.
Hmm.
How so?
Uh,
Can you give any details on that?
well, I'm selling the company to Starbucks.
Wow.
Ooh.
I think this is a lie.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. Starbucks, if you're listening,
Nah, I would.
Mr. Bucks.
I think they listen. I think they're
Nah, I
they're a
would.
follower.
I would. I definitely would. If the
Yeah.
price is right.
Mm,
Yeah, I get
It'd
it.
be tough.
yeah.
You just
Maybe.
go open another one.
Yeah.
True.
You can always open something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? What were we talking? What was the
How
question?
often are you in the shops?
Again, not enough. But when we started, a lot.
Mm.
I mean, the first one I pretty much worked. I was working shifts. I didn't even realize I was working shifts. I wasn't paying myself.
Yeah.
Wish I would
That'll
reverse
happen.
Mhm.
But dude, the first year I'd be like training a client, and like I knew we only had one person staff because all we could afford. I'd see, like, I was training a client, and I see a rush of like these high school kids running in. So I was like, do some freaking crunches, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I'd be over, like, the session would be toast by the time I got back. But that's like patience through my clientele through those moments.
Yeah.
But dude, I didn't really care. I thought that's what I thought created success, and it does to some degree. Just relentless hard work, not
Yeah.
giving a you know what. Just
Mhm.
there was no pride in it.
Mm.
And those moments where I've gotten even slightly prideful in business, that's where you see the for me the degress.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yep.
But the role that I hopefully step into, which I'm going to because I have no option in a good way, because that's how we're going to grow, and that's how we're going to. I have to get, but not that I have anything to do with our success, but I know that I can help with it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the day-to-day me, I having to take a step back into the stuff that people don't see,
Mm.
The back end.
the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long has Coffee Jerks in general been open? Because I was talking to the girl working at Yukon today. Again, they were very nice. They were very nice people. Good employees. They seemed very sweet. But I was talking to her, and I was like, "Yeah, like how long has this location been open again?" And she's like, "Oh, we just passed our 1 year." And I was like, "That's
Dude, it's
nuts.
nuts, man.
That's nuts."
That's what I'm saying. It was 5 years. What is it going to be? Yeah, this is 5 years. 5 years this Black Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's wild, man.
And then Deer Creek and Yukon just kind of like boom, boom.
Yeah, kind of like us.
One thing that I've always found interesting is the fact that, you know, I'm in Coffee Jerks pretty regularly, and I'm also at the gym pretty regularly, and I see you at the gym almost every time I'm there. Don't see you at Coffee Jerks a ton, and obviously, I think I remember talking to you at one point, and I think I remember that you set that up as somewhat like as the design of not having to be stuck in the business. Was that by design, or did you make
There's
that up?
some, but dude, like I told you, I'm dumb, man. Don't listen to anything I ever tell you in a coffee shop, dude. Seriously. It's usually me going into a mistake that I'm going to come back a year later like, dude, this is actually cancel that, dude.
Yeah.
No, yes and no. Like the meat of that was true, but sometimes, like I said, because I take such a unique approach, because I have to continue to do what I love, but also I have to make a living. And creating what I want to create right now, it calls for those two. But what I'm realizing in life is those two are going to have to morph into something much different. And that's what I'm headed into.
Yeah.
But I think this is, for what I'm headed and what I want to do, I think this is the perfect time.
Yeah.
Will you have to cut back on how much time you're training to do that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But I don't know the exact amount yet.
Okay.
Because I do love training.
Yeah.
Like, I think if I didn't have training, I'd be a terrible one business owner.
Your guy that needs to be
But
busy.
also in the same sense, I'd say if I didn't have training, I'd probably be a much better. But it creates the ability to adapt. Now, is it do I believe taking a business to a success that it takes to be a brand that stays alive and grows into a different pattern than anybody else, which are very rare if you really look at it? No, it's impossible. So that's why I have to figure out a way to come into one.
Yeah.
So that's I'm working on some unique stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And $1 billion deals and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, and it's nothing like life changing.
Yeah.
It's life changing for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just trying to be real with myself and understand it. But I think when I said why I went into business with myself earlier, I just said because I didn't want to listen to people. But honestly, like I said about brands and stuff, anything that I do that's smart is because in the last 5 years, I've started listening to people that are much older than me and much smarter than me. Because most of the stuff isn't my true idea. So I tell people I'm not an inventor at all of anything. I'm more of probably, I guess you'd call it like a plagiarist.
Yeah. Well, I would
I'm
say
illegal.
I don't think so. I think the right way to put it is
I
you
deserve
might
to
not
go to
be
prison.
you might not be an inventor, but you're a gatherer of good ideas.
Gatherer.
That's. I mean, you talked about that earlier. Of like you've pieced together a combination of random, not random,
They
but
just
like
say
the
it's
ideas
random. It is random.
well, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you
think
pick
about
the
this.
ones that you think work for you.
Think about this. When you think of a coffee shop owner, what do you think about? Be honest with yourself. Don't think about me.
I think of a coffee shop owner.
Like, what do they
Like a
look,
solo coffee shop.
yeah, what do they look like?
Think of a nice lady who
Yes.
makes mugs.
Wears an apron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now imagine
Paints.
me at like a coffee convention.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, you're the guy I don't want to run
It is random,
into.
and I'm okay with that. That's why I like it, because
You're unique.
yeah, I'm
Stand
special.
out.
My mom said I was special,
Yeah, that's good.
and I feel pretty special.
You are
No,
special.
it fits my personality. That's why I love it, because I am random, and I have ADHD, and I'm fully okay with it.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I'm fully okay with it. And I think ADHD is just a form of creativity that people are scared of.
Mm.
And so I think if I can learn to focus that energy into it in a unique way, that because it's a gift, and I don't mean I'm gifted, but a lot of people
Yeah.
have it. And it's,
Yeah.
I think it's
It could be.
And pulling the positive from it.
it's stigmatized in a bad way.
It could push you into a negative space, or you could harness it and use it for positive.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of the most successful people. Look at Elon Musk, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys don't sit still.
No.
I mean, he has things that he's diagnosed with.
Sure.
That if he would have went through the right different school system, he wouldn't be Elon Musk. He'd have been dumbed down. Not saying I'm Elon Musk by any means, because he's fueled by something different than I am, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
But
I think
anyways.
there's an interesting point, like, back to like taking things and like getting ideas and kind of like gathering ideas. Like, I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with it. I mean, like, I'm sure Kevin can make a testament to like, we have a ton of similarities to supplement superstores. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that we're taking.
Yeah.
Sure, there's things that are different, but it's about picking and choosing. It's a blend of things. I think it's picking and choosing the things that create the blend the way you want it to be.
Okay.
And so it's like you can have unoriginal ideas, but make them successful in the correct environment.
It's a unique blend that ends up being, a unique like a thing of its own.
Yeah.
It's unique because of the combination of the different ideas that you put together.
Exactly. And I think obviously Coffee Jerks has had its form of success for a reason. And I think that you've created an environment where it's like you've taken it's very Kenny, right? Like as much as it is like, and I mean that in a positive way because I love you, but like if you walk into a Coffee Jerks, when I walk into a Coffee Jerks, I'm like, yeah, oh, I get it. This has got Kenny written on it. Yeah. But it's like, but you take your unique twist of things, and then you add that to a blend of good ideas that you've gotten from other people's or other people or other businesses or whatever, and then you can mold those together and then add your twist to it, add your flavor to it, and then it becomes Coffee Jerks, right? Exactly. And I think that that's such an important thing because I think it's the same thing can be said about Triad, right? Like there's how much of Triad is your grandpa, like
quite a bit, yeah.
Ideas from him, talking to him, different stuff like that. Or like how many ideas, come from Ryan, who came from potentially somebody else, or even Ryan original ideas, but it's the same kind of idea where it's like
where he's looking at different, like where we obviously model, ourselves after, like you said it S2 earlier,
right?
And even a lot of what First Form does, because that's where we came from.
Sure,
they're doing well. So it's, man, what are they doing that would fit us well? Not everything, but the things that fit us well, we use.
Putting our own twist.
When First Form came out, they came out.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Yeah.
Do you remember what year you learned about them?
It was like early Instagram era. That's what's weird to me is because a lot of like these fitness people that I remember when some of these people, I'm not gonna name their names, but had like 2,500 followers. And that's weird that that's like our history. It's like I remember when they had
like right. People that have like,
and now they have 4 million, 5 million followers.
Yeah.
And they're solely making a living based on that part of the industry, which is cool. And it's really cool to see how the industry how it morphs in the social world on the platforms,
right?
Because that's the era that everything was a transformation photo, and everything was a quick scheme. Everything was that was MLM, like they were huge, coming like pushing the market, especially in Oklahoma City. And I was over at GNC killing it, but no, but it's just crazy how you see these people what the supplement industry, like First Form, has done and created people's literal lives, and their income, which is crazy. And I said, you guys have that potential, people.
Well, thank you. I know, I appreciate that. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I think you talk about GNC, and I know you talk about it as like not like as a more interesting light as you kind of like talk about it. But like, I'm sure there's things potentially subconsciously or consciously that you even take from there. And it's like, I think it's funny because it's like, you also didn't invent an iced latte, but like you make a damn good one. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you found the right ingredients, whether it came from like the literal ingredients or just the different things that you've taken from all over, knowing that like, you can't force the script on people, knowing that you can't do this. It's like, it's the same kind of thing as making a drink, is it's like, you've put your own twist when it comes to this. And I think when it comes to like Coffee Jerks and stuff like that, I think that you've done a really good job with it.
Amen. That touches deep.
Good. Well, I think Ryan gave me the 2-hour warning a little bit ago. So I think, does anybody have anything they'd like to touch on before I wrap it up?
Kevin?
I have more questions, but it would make us go 3 hours.
Give me one last. Give me a good one.
I got time.
This has been easy. Come on, give me something.
Oh, we're not asking hard enough questions?
Yeah.
Let's get personal.
All right.
I mean, we can edit this out.
So I started to kind of touch on it earlier, but man, I think the thing for me is that I was very, very anxious, and I just recently, within this last year, got to the point where I didn't have to work in the store and take customers anymore. Because when I would be in periods of time where I was taking customers, there would be things that would be happening on the back end, like if, those bad reviews come through and I'm with customers for 3 hours and I can't even do anything and I'm just freaking out, but having to put a smile on and take customers. It's like, I'm stressed. So I was very excited to get to the point where I wasn't working shifts at all. And it might be that way, moving forward. But obviously, you talked about it early on, training your clients and having to, jump away and jump into the coffee shop. Are there still instances where there are stressful situations, but you just gotta hang out with your clients and keep a smile? Or
yes and no. We've had bigger situations arise, but now I don't know, it just feels different because I do have extra layers of leaders now within them.
Important.
That helps.
Important.
And that means they're doing their job.
Absolutely.
When I don't feel it. We don't have, I mean, we're a coffee shop, so we're not having like murders happen. I wish.
Not
I'm just kidding.
no murders yet.
No murders yet. I did find when we first, never mind, I won't say that. I've said that a lot in my head tonight. That's probably why I've been quiet. The good thing is this is live.
Oh,
Right.
We got to eat up at least 8 minutes because I talked about Penn State for at least 8. We got to cut that in. We got to cut that out.
I think that's making the cut.
Well, that's all right.
I don't think anything's getting edited.
I mean, the group
We can edit out anything you want to, but
no,
I think we're good.
What were you saying?
Basically just, because like I know even when I was working like a second job, man, not being able to be at the business was stressful, but then even having to be stuck in the business and not being able to focus on the back end was stressful. So for you to have 3 locations and to still be training clients, man, like it stresses me out to watch you. Honestly.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah.
But you kind of adapt.
Yeah.
But again, I will always claim I'm dumb. And so I don't, and that's where I see like everything happens for a reason. And I'm perfectly okay if Coffee Jerks isn't it for me. That doesn't mean I want it to fail. That doesn't mean, but I don't view anything, because business in the last 3 years really have really stuck something in me in the fact of there's a lot of uncontrollables. And if I control what I control, if that's not enough, the problems I have in myself is where I know I didn't put enough into it.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I wasn't working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But being in a chaotic environment at times, like for me, I have to take a step back and I have to start coaching myself or getting a coach or helming it in, because the honest truth is I can't perform anything to the level that I want it to be if it doesn't get the proper attention. And now it's figuring out what is that? What is it?
No.
What do you think it is, Kevin?
The proper attention, like in what way?
How many hours? How many hours do you think a business, a startup, small business?
Like it's okay hours from you.
I don't know. There isn't a perfect number.
No, I kind of viewed it, at least, I mean, you're at 3 locations now, so that's a little tough of like, because I know I've gone through different stages. Like sometimes it's, man, 40 hours is like, man, I'm kind of scrapping to find things to do, and I feel bad about not working more. But I know there's been periods early on and even periods now where I worked 3 18-hour days in a row. It's just because I had just so much on my plate. It's like I can't clock out, be done. So it's I kind of view it as the more you put in, the more you get out, though.
No, it's 100% true. That's what you deserve, I think.
Good.
If you fail, you fail.
If he dies, he dies.
That's good. I set you up for that.
I appreciate that. That was the
Speaking
first.
of Sylvester Stallone, he'll be back to shoot season 2. You guys gonna get him?
Yeah.
Ooh, he'd
Just
be
saying.
good. He'd be a good one. I did. I don't know. I've shared this story with a lot of people because it's actually a really
It's pretty cool.
proud moment for me. But I got big dicked by Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
Really?
I got this leg tattoo. This was probably about 3 or 4 weeks now. It was initially scheduled for like 2 months ago with Zach Perez. Awesome artist.
Phenomenal artist.
Phenomenal art. Yeah.
Guy's crazy.
The thing I really liked about him is he's super organized. And like had everything scheduled out, artwork all put together like weeks in advance. But he called me the day of the tattoo appointment that was scheduled like 4 or 5 months out, and was like, "Hey man, you still coming into your appointment today?" I was like, "Well, yeah, plan to. It starts in an hour. I'm about to head there." I'm like, "Everything good?" He's like, "Well, I've got Sylvester Stallone. He has an appointment tomorrow, and I got all his artwork finished up yesterday, and he apparently is still not happy with it. So I'm continuing to do revisions, and it's bleeding in more into today than I thought it would. And he's calling me about every hour. He's like, you are more than welcome to come in and get tattooed today. But just to be honest, he's like, I'm going to be a little stressed and you're probably not going to get my full attention. And I just wanted to like make you aware of that, or like give you the option. I'm like, dude, first and foremost,
yeah,
holy shit, you're tattooing Sylvester Stallone.
Also, what a genuine guy.
For real.
What a genuine, like, because I think he grasps, like, this is something that you're going to have on you forever. And, like, he wants to do the absolute best that he can.
Yeah.
And I think him being honest, because that's difficult as, like, a business owner, like he is, to be like, hey, man, I know that I might lose you, but I'd rather lose you like this than lose you with the tattoo you don't want.
Right.
You know?
Imagine if Kenny GNC was your tattoo artist. Think about the tattoo you would have, because I would have told you. It's like, get on in here, boy.
Yeah.
You'd like to do just random?
Just
That'd be
draw
kind of
it.
artist.
Yeah.
Just whatever you're feeling today.
Yeah.
I'm stressed today. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Time to go.
I'm creative.
You an artist at all?
Yeah.
Huh?
That's good. But people like that are rare.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's why
Um,
they're valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like, dude, if I had Sylvester Stallone calling up to Triad and saying, hey, I need you to help me out today, I'd be like, cancel everything.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I told Zach not even worry about me. I was like, dude, we'll get something, like, don't even worry about rescheduling that. Like, we'll get it figured out. Like,
Yeah.
let's like do your thing today. So yeah, but now I get to say that I got tattooed by the same guy that tattooed Sylvester Stallone.
You got your appointment kicked.
Yeah, got big dicked.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Well, we're probably about 2.5 hours in now. So, well,
I'm not gonna lie, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh, big bad.
like
right
you guys, this beer, I've had like 4 bottles of water.
Yeah. But
So we should drag it out a little longer.
Yeah, man, that's great. I'm having a
But,
great time.
we really appreciate anybody who's tuned into this episode or previous episodes and
apologize.
Made
hope
it
that
this
you guys-
far?
Yeah, really though. I appreciate anybody who's continuing to listen, and we get a ton of awesome feedback from you guys. Anybody who's stopped in the store, had really nice things to say. It's been awesome. Yes, Ryan.
Oh, I was just waiting to tell y'all this because I got the email today, but we hit 500 downloads.
Hey,
Heck yeah.
Nice. So
I
yeah,
got to- this is history.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That
man.
means 500 people really care.
Yeah, we've had our fair share of views, man. It's been actually rather successful.
Wow.
You see what I did there?
That's pretty good.
But guys, we really appreciate that. Again, this is Kenny Wooldridge, owner of Anytime Fit, or co-owner, I think, of Anytime Fitness, Kennytime Fitness, as we'd like to call it, on 122nd and May. In that same shopping center, he is also the owner of Coffee Jerks, with 2 other locations in Yukon as well as Deer Creek. Make sure and check those out. It is hands down our favorite coffee shop in town, and not just because I love Kenny. But I do genuinely like the product that you guys have. When you guys stop by, make sure and mention that you saw it on the Unsuccessful Entrepreneur podcast, and they'll charge you double. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys.
We'll write that check.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thanks.